years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
Snakes, zombies, sharks, heights, speaking in public. The list of fears is endless. But while you're clutching your blanket in the dark, wondering if that sound in the hall was actually a footstep, the real danger is in your hand, when you're behind the wheel. And while you might think a great white shark is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
What they did this year is they needed to, because they were getting old. There was no way around it. They were an aging team with TJ Oshie and Nick Backstrom and John Carlson, and everybody was like, what's going to happen here with this Caps team? Well, they had young guys who were waiting, biding their time. They got faster, they got bigger, and they're mean. Spencer Carberry is a hell of a coach. And as the year kept going on, you go, well, we're going to see. Well, they got this stretch, and they kept passing all those tests, and then you get to the point of they're just a good team.
It's here. It's finally here. Game 1, round 2 tonight.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Tuesday.
No, I'm not there yet. I will say that last week went on forever.
It did.
I don't know why. Maybe it's because the series ended Tuesday and it just felt like, man, it should have been Thursday, but it wasn't. We had 3 more days after that. But, yeah, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I anticipate this will be a normal, really, that week went fast type of a week. But we have game 1 tonight. We are very excited. The waiting is the hardest part. That's what Tom Petty told us.
Mm-hmm.
And now the waiting is over, and we can get to the business of seeing which of the Hurricanes or Capitals will survive. As I have said, I went on with Grant Paulson, Grant and Danny in D.C. yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Tried to dish back a little bit. I'm not sure I succeeded in really, stirring up a bee's nest.
Did you make sure you called Tom Wilson a goon 8 times?
I didn't call him a goon. I just said, I did say that I don't want to hear the Capitals whine after a loss like they did after the 5-1 loss here. Well, the Hurricanes were doing a lot of extra stuff that they were getting away with. I'm like, yeah, right.
Okay, buddy.
That's fine. Because I remember all the whining that happened in 2019 after Carolina won that series. During the series, Todd Reardon, boy, do we miss him. Todd Reardon whining about Carolina. I don't even remember what the whine was, but he was. Anyway, I believe we are here for the long haul.
Yeah, I think so.
I believe we are here for a 7-game series that I think Carolina will figure out a way to win. But I believe we are here for 7 games. So it has been a minute since the Hurricanes have played a 7-game series. Their last experience with 7 games, let's see if I get this right, was that 22 Rangers? Right? 23 opened with the Islanders winning 6, Devils winning 5, Panthers not good. Last year, Islanders winning 5, Rangers losing 6. Last 7-game series ended in Raleigh, 2022. against the Rangers. They had back-to-back 7-game series that year. Boston first, then the Rangers. They won Game 7 here. That was the Max Domi game. By the way, how many former Hurricanes are all over all of these playoff teams?
So many.
Right? We had Max Domi, Max Pacioretty for Toronto, who played a good game last night. Stephen Lawrence is up there. We're everywhere.
All over the place.
We are everywhere. All right, a lot to do. A Hurricanes legend is going to join us in about 5 or 6 minutes. Justin Williams will be by because this is where it began, right? 2019. This series is what triggered all of this Hurricanes culture that we have grown accustomed to. Let's play. So a couple of quick things on this. Game 1 is tonight, 7 o'clock. If you are listening locally or you just want to tune in, the pregame show starts at 6. That's soon. It's only an extra half hour. Why does it seem like an extra 3 hours?
I know. It's weird how that works.
Kind of does. Anyway, 5th straight year, the second round for the Hurricanes. And I know there's a lot of people that ignore that as significant. But it shouldn't be. That doesn't mean it's the goal. Sebastian Aho said it after they beat the Devils. Making the second round isn't the goal. The goal is to win it all, and they're going to go for it again. But it is the 5th straight year that they have reached the second round. Just to put that into context, the Chicago Blackhawks, who won 3 cups in 6 years between 2010 and 2015, they never made it to the second round 5 straight years. In fact, in between Cups 1 and 2, they got bounced in the first round twice. The Colorado Avalanche, who lost Game 7 on Saturday, they haven't made it to the second round 5 years in a row. They did have a 4-year run, but they have now lost in the first round 2 out of the last 3 years. They've only actually gotten beyond the second round once in this 8-year consecutive playoff run. Beyond the second round once. Wow. That kind of surprised me. The Dallas Stars are on a 3-year run of second round or better. Edmonton, 4. But that's largely because they keep playing the LA Kings in the first round.
Very true.
It's like an annuity. The Panthers have made it to the second round 4 straight years. It's hard. What did I just tell you? The Hurricanes are the only team in the NHL to reach round 2 5 years in a row. Right now. That's it. The only team. Real quick, Toronto opened up their series with Florida. They beat the champs 5-4. I listened to Sirius XM on the way in, and I watched the ESPN stuff last night. We're spending a whole lot of time saying, well, Florida was asleep, and they showed up late. They showed you what they were about in the third period. Yeah, Toronto's good. So Toronto got off to the fast start in terms of scoring. Can we just be honest? Sergei Bobrovsky was no good last night. 3 of the first 4 goals, varying degrees if that can't happen. Like, some of them were, okay, I see it. But first one, that can't be a goal. Like, you got to be ready for that shot. First one can't be a goal. The Tanev goal that made it 4, that can't be a goal. How does that get past you? So, I thought 3 of the 4 were, a better version of Bobrovsky. Not even an elite version of Bobrovsky, but a better one. Those 3 goals don't go in. And now we're talking about a completely different hockey game. And we have 2 game ones tonight. Obviously, Carolina and Washington, and Edmonton and Vegas. NBA playoffs opened with 2 pretty big upsets last night. We already had the game 1. By the way, road teams so far so good. Indiana won Sunday game 1 in Cleveland. Knicks, what? Knicks won in Boston. And the Nuggets won on the road in Oklahoma City. All comebacks, by the way. Celtics missed 45 3-point shots.
Oh, that's all. Wow.
45!
Yikes.
Like, you could have said it the other way. The Celtics made 15 3-pointers. Hey, not bad. They missed 45. It's unbelievable.
Not good stats.
That's a record.
Yeah.
By the way, the Knicks outscored the Celtics 48-28 over the last 18 minutes of regulation to force overtime. And then Boston didn't get off a shot, down 3 with 3 seconds to play, didn't get off a shot. Good defensive play, by the way, by Mikal Bridges. Denver scored 71 second-half points in coming back to beat Oklahoma City, 121-119. And I don't believe OKC scored at all in the last couple of minutes or something like it. It was crazy. But Nikola Jokic only had 42, 22, and 6 assists. Aaron Gordon, 22, 14, and the game-winning three-pointer with 2.8 seconds left. One more thing before we turn this over to my conversation with Justin Williams. Clemson and Notre Dame are going to play each other in football every year through 2038, assuming that we're still playing college football in 2038. But let's just pretend right now that the sport will remain static until then. By the way, Florida State and Miami are also in conversations with Notre Dame about more regular meetings with the Irish. And this is good for Notre Dame, and it is good for those schools, and they're in the ACC, therefore it is good for the ACC. Because the ACC needs more high-profile matchups. Now, these are non-conference games. I am not suggesting that the Atlantic Coast Conference ramp up their non-conference schedules because they are already too far ramped. We need to tone down non-conference schedules as a whole. We need to tone them down. But schools like Clemson, feel free. Schedule well. Feel free. Because the best teams will win these games. So if Clemson is going to fancy itself a national contender, by all means, schedule them. Same with Florida State, same with Miami. If you can't win them, then don't play them. That's my stance on all of this. But I do think the league needs to reconfigure their conference schedules. We're going to talk about this with Wes Durham in our second hour to include better matchups within the league. I have a plan. I always have a plan. All right, are we done with the college football? We have a matter to take care of. This is where it all began. This is when we talk about Carolina Hurricanes culture and the success, getting to the playoffs, being successful in the playoffs. This is where it all began. Justin Williams is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Because this is really the start of it, isn't it? When you think back to the first, playoff appearance in a decade in the spring of 2019, you go into a series on the road at Washington, albeit not as the favorite like this year. What do you remember about that, the run into the playoffs, and then the approach to that series?
Having a great second half of that season to get into the playoffs and to finally kind of get over the hump of mediocrity that this team was mired in for so long, and getting into that playoffs and having nothing to lose. Playing against Washington, who were the defending Cup champions, it was certainly the underdog scenario. We grasped that, we enjoyed it. But we were playing on such a high from the past few months and really trending in the right direction for a long time. And I just remember coming into that series having a lot of familiar faces on that other side, which I played for Washington a couple years before, and just really telling myself to enjoy it.
Justin Williams is joining us here. I'm going to continue the conversation about the series, but there was a moment during that hot streak. It was like 31, 12, and 7 in the last, 3.5, 4 months of the season that got you in the playoffs. But I remember a game specifically that I believed was a turning point in the team going from, we're good, to holding yourselves to a higher standard. It was a home game against Tampa Bay, and I think it was like a 3-1 or maybe a 4-1 lead in the third period, and you got power played by the Lightning, and they ended up winning the game. And I remember after the game, in years past, it would have been, we proved that we could play with them. And I remember you specifically, like, being visibly angry that we gave them too much respect. I felt like that was a turning point. I keep talking to other people about it. I don't know that I've ever asked you about it. Do you remember that game at all?
Yeah, I mean, you've you certainly did some research on this one, because you really jogged my memory just in that kind of introduction to your question there. And I remember that game certainly like it was yesterday. And we lost that game, and it was one of my few times I've lost it after a game. I went in there and was visibly upset and challenged the team, and I said, okay is not okay. And I do remember that. Whether or not that was a turning point or not, I'm not sure, but we had to get off of the average train and be, confident to compete with these guys. And the way we lost that game was just a very upsetting time for me. And, I wanted to let it known that the players that I'm not okay with it, and they shouldn't be either.
Justin Williams is joining us. All right, now to the series, because I remember that so vividly. I remember standing there listening to you going, yeah, this is different. We're not accepting just being good. We have a chance to be a lot more than that. Now we get to that series against Washington, and they win Game 1 relatively handily. Game 2's an overtime game. When you get home for Game 3 and you hear that crowd at now Lenovo, obviously that means a lot. But when did you guys believe in that series that these guys are there for us to take?
Well, I mean, you use all the adages and sayings and things that you can, and a series isn't over until you lose a home game, and we had a really good home record, and we obviously are very confident that we could beat anybody playing at the PNC at the time, but at the Lenovo Center now. And there was just a belief if we were going to go away, we weren't going to go away quietly. And I think that's one of the best things is for a younger team trying to make the next step is like, we might lose, but we aren't going to lose quietly. We are going to go down kicking and screaming like a little kid at Toys R Us that doesn't get his toy, and we will do everything that we can to make sure that we challenge these guys. And we did that. We worked hard. We didn't say quit even after going down 2-0, and we just won one game at a time and continue to go.
By the way, I'm not even sure Toys R Us even exists anymore. You're not an old man, but you have an old soul. Justin Williams is joining us here. All right, let's get to game number 7, because I want to fast forward this to that point. You start 0-2 in the hole. Sebastian Aho gets on the board with a shorthanded goal off a rebound, and then Washington counters right away just about and makes it 3-1 again. The Teuvo Teravainen goal that made it 3-2. What does that do? It didn't come immediately after Washington's goal, but what does that do late in the period that takes you into the third period still with a chance?
Well, a one goal lead is just certainly mentally a lot different than a 2-goal lead, albeit it really doesn't mean anything in this year's playoffs if you've been following it. But it just gives you a certain little confidence, a little swagger, and what it does is it instills a little bit of doubt in the other team, and that's what you want to try and feed off of. And hey, I've been on the other side where you got the lead and you just want to cruise it into the home stretch here and finish it off, but this team is coming relentlessly at you over and over and over again, and it's just a mentality, and we instilled a little bit of doubt, I think, with that goal that Teuvo scored.
And what was the third period like? And you could even extend that into overtime, but what was the third period like?
Yeah, it was phenomenal. I remember Jordan Stahl scoring a Eric Stahl-ish goal from that spot, and then it was real. It was a kind of a next goal wins type of game, and we just wanted to keep pressing, and as I said, we might have lost. We certainly could have lost, but we found a way, and we found a way to kind of make that next step, and it was a big part in our as you said, culture shift in Carolina.
All right. One more thing about the series, and then I want to ask you about some current players who were there. By the way, 5 players for each team are still on their respective teams, and 1 player for each team changed teams. It's a wild kind of coincidence here. But describe for me, from your perspective, the game-winning goal.
I remember the game-winning goal. We had an offensive zone face-off. Sebastian Aho was hurt at the time. I think it was a wrist or an arm or something. So he wasn't really taking face-offs. So I tried to go forward off a face-off, lost it cleanly, as I usually do on face-offs. And we just went back over to Jacob Slavin, who threw it at the net. And as you can tell, I mean, listen, you see guys going to the net, you want to throw it there. And it's become a lot of these game-winning goals seem to be almost pinball-ish, off a stick, off a shin pad. And that's all I was trying to do there. I saw Brock going to the net. I went to the corner, threw it to him, and he unbelievably knocked it out of the air and came back celebrating. And it was a pretty special moment for a lot of guys on that team, and certainly ones that I'm never going to forget.
What was the handshake line for you?
Yeah, it was an exhausting series, so I think it was just kind of a relief, really. And, these guys, I was so proud of Washington the year before. A lot of my teammates won their first Stanley Cup, and I was really proud of them. But I was even almost more proud of our team for dispatching them in the next year. And a lot of handshakes, just a lot of congratulatory stuff, and job well done, and that's what a battle is. At the end of it, you can put things aside, whatever was said. If you took a bad hit, whatever it is, it's all in the name of a game of hockey, and that's why it's the best sport.
It was just a quick aside. The handshake line at the end of the Devils series, you could see the outpouring of love for Brett Pesce.
Yes, I mean he's still a close friend to a lot of guys, and you. Throughout your years, you're going to remember players, and Brett, I still keep in touch with him, even though I haven't played for over 4 years. And he's just a great guy, and one that we would have loved to have kept, but just a super individual, and I think that really resonated with how you saw the handshake line and a bunch of hugs and congratulatory stuff, because he was a big part of this team for a really long time.
Yeah, I think parts of him are still here. All right, finally, Martinook, Stahl, Aho, Slavin. I know Martin. I think I might have said Martinook. There are a bunch of guys who are still here that played in that game, and to me, those guys, Martinook, Aho, Stahl, these are the culture of this team. What is it about those guys that embodies the spirit of being a Hurricane?
Well, it encapsulates everything. I mean, they're what Hurricanes are, and I know Roddy says it ad nauseum, right? They compete, they care, and they work. I mean, that's what a Hurricane is, and they really embody the spirit of that, and they show up every day and do the same thing, and because of that, we've been successful. Obviously, Roddy at the top and management at the top have given us a template for success, but these guys are the ones that are carrying it out on a day-to-day basis and through 82 games and playoffs and pushing themselves and pushing their teammates to get better. And they're great leaders, and it's no fluke that this team has made the playoffs for so long, and those guys are a huge reason why.
Why don't fans recognize how hard it is to do what this team has done now 7 years in a row? Well,
certainly. I think fans do recognize it for sure. But, you know, the more you get, the more you want, right? And I think that's just human nature. And we want more. Everybody wants more. And we keep giving ourselves opportunities, and we have another one in front of us.
The easiest decision Rod Brindamore ever made as the head coach, he told me, was naming you the captain, his first captain. Justin Williams, I thank you very much for your time, sir. I will talk to you soon.
Goldie, you bet. Enjoy the series.
I think we're going to enjoy the series. I think there's going to be a lot of late nights. I think we are in for multiple overtimes in this series. And just like the last one, we played the Capitals won, I believe it was Game 2 in overtime, and the Hurricanes, of course, won Game 7 in double overtime. I think we are headed for several overtime games in this one. Real quick, and I don't mean to disparage Hurricanes fans, it is natural to want more and to worry that you're not making progress even if you only get to the Elite Eight of the NHL or the Final Four of the NHL where they have been twice. Obviously, that first year and 3 years ago when they lost to Florida in the conference finals. But I do remember being a fan of the University of Maryland where I kept hearing how Gary Williams only gets Maryland to the Sweet 16. As though that wasn't in and of itself pretty significant accomplishment. Now that is, again, that's never the goal. It's not the goal to only get there. But it is significant that the Hurricanes have found themselves in the Elite Eight of the NHL in each of the last 5 years. Now, can they make another step? Yeah, they can. Carolina can beat Washington. They're favored. They shouldn't be favored by the amount they're favored, but they are favored. I think it's a very even series, even though the betting market says otherwise. And again, I think we're going to be here a long time, but I think the Hurricanes can. I think the Hurricanes will win the series. Man, is it going to be nerve-wracking.
Oh, yeah. My blood pressure is already nervous.
Already. Water, tea, chamomile tea for everyone.
A lot of woosahs.
All right, when we come back, because there are other things, we have a grudge match in town tonight, in Raleigh tonight. It's actually technically Cary tonight. We'll get to that. And the NBA playoffs have gotten off to an amazing start in round 2. Talk about that with our friend Will Palaszczuk. That's right. Willie P. Styles here next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Need more Stanley Cup chatter, Canes fans? Listen afternoons at 12:15 and 4:15 for our Cup Check-In. Served up by Carolina Ale House. Adam Gold talks with hockey's best, past and present, bringing you the latest insight on the chase for Lord Stanley's Cup. It's the Cup Check-In on 99.9 The Fan. Served up by Carolina Ale House. Come to Carolina Ale House Cary for away game watch parties throughout the playoffs, or visit carolinaalehouse.com/Canes.
May is the perfect month to get on a motorcycle, and it's also Motorcycle Awareness Month. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers, and as someone who has ridden before and is currently getting back into the swing of things, it's always a good idea to keep some simple things in mind to help you stay safe on the roadways. First up, make sure you are always wearing a USDOT compliant helmet with eye protection because those bugs feel like rocks when you are riding down the highway. Also, keep your lights on even during the day because standing out is imperative. These are simple reminders to help prevent an accident from happening, but if one does, call Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too, and they know the value of your bike and gear and the investment you've made. Case evaluations are always free, and you won't pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned, Cajun-fried, whole breast tenderloin fillets, choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles' legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I tell people all the time, every single company that I endorse, it's about customer service. You guys are amazing. Even in a pink belt, you're amazing. What is the philosophy of Aluminum Company?
So for us, it's all about helping customers out, right? We go out to your house, you want to look at windows, and a lot of people don't want to do all of their windows at one time. So we're not there to pressure you to do what we want you to do. We just want to come out, have a conversation with you, look at your house overall. We can do an inspection of your house if you want us to look around and see what windows are the worst, or if you need some doors and windows. We put together a package that works for the customer. There's no pressure. We absolutely try to help with financing options and put together a package that works for our customers. And that's our philosophy, is just we're there to help. We're not there to pressure you.
And let me tell you this, from a personal standpoint, everything you just said was true because you did exactly that with me not that long ago. Patrick Day, Aluminum Company of North Carolina, 800-672-4348 or aluminumcompany.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of digital instants from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With instant wins, progressive jackpots, and bonus games right from your phone. It's nonstop chances to win like you've never seen or heard before.
Oh, yeah! Big money!
Visit nclottery.com to get in on the action. Must be 18 to play. See prize and odds charts at nclottery.com/digital-instants for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
If Andrei Svechnikov watched Eric Cole highlight tapes and cause chaos.
Hey, hashtag, you didn't even mean to do that, did you?
I didn't. Well, that's the old one.
I know, but
right?
It's still relevant.
Now we're raising up. Maybe we should go back to cause chaos.
I know, we need to go back to causing chaos.
It's interesting. I did kind of subconsciously bring that out.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. Lots to talk about. Our friend Will Palaszczuk, who is the play-by-play voice of Charlotte FC, also post-game for the Hornets on WFNZ in Charlotte, and an avid NBA watcher. We're going to talk about that as well. Also, the Hornets have a chance, I guess, to win the NBA draft lottery, which is a week from yesterday. And they have as good a chance as any, I guess. 14% chance, along with Utah and Washington, to end up with the with Cooper Flagg, since I assume he will be the first overall selection in the draft, so we can discuss where the Hornets may go. But first, hi, Will. How are you?
So you're saying there's a chance, Adam? So you're saying there's a chance.
I am saying there is a chance.
I heard that you made a little run at the Crown this morning on.
I did
on our airwaves.
I did.
What's the deal, Adam?
It's a grudge match. It's a grudge match. It is Charlotte FC and North Carolina FC. It's up. It's on tonight at Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary. This franchise, if you will, has done very well historically in the U.S. Open Cup. And they have done well against MLS sides. Ask LA Galaxy about that. I think did we lose Will? Did Will go away? Or did he turn the lights out on himself? I think we lost Will. We'll have to get him back. We're going to have to get him back now. Because I believe Smack was about to be discussed.
I know. I was going to say maybe you scared him off because of the Smack talk. Oh, wait, I think
want
he's back.
no part of this.
I'm here.
There he is. He's back. So, as I was saying, back in a former life when they were the Railhawks, this organization has done very well in U.S. Open Cup matches.
It has.
And most of the time it's because the MLS sides they've rotated out a lot of their first team. We never saw David Beckham play here. Landon Donovan came and I think might have come on in the last time the Galaxy were here, but they were not here to play. They were just here to they're here, and they could wave from the from the touchline. Is Charlotte FC going to bring their fifth in the East table, which is very good, bring that heat tonight?
So it's interesting, Adam. Charlotte in previous years has given very much a level of reverence to the U.S. Open Cup. So it's not as if they will bring a fully rotated side. We really don't have any experience with Dean Smith as an Open Cup coach. Last year when they had the Leagues Cup, which as you know was the competition that they do between them and Liga MX, he handled it a little bit differently. He rotated very heavily, and I think a lot of people kind of maybe accused him of not really caring about the Leagues Cup. I think he cares about the Open Cup to a greater degree, at least this year, and I think they'll care about the Leagues Cup a little bit too because they made some changes there to where it's more MLS versus Liga MX teams, so there's more incentive to do so there. I do think, though, they are going to try to rotate some. They are going to have to rotate at least a force change in the back line with Adilson Malanda, their starting center back and Defender of the Year candidate. He's out because of a red card that he took in an Open Cup game 2 years ago, the last Open Cup game that Charlotte played against Birmingham Legion back in Matthews. So that's an unfortunate thing the Crown has to deal with. They might try to move Tim Ream inside, play him alongside Privet, or they can go with a veteran Bill Tuiloma to go alongside of him and maybe put Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy on the outside, somebody brand new guy they just brought in. In terms of the front line, it would not shock me to see Edon Toklamati start and Ajiman sit, but they could obviously want Ajiman to get some confidence and start him from the start. Unfortunately, Adam, they don't have a lot of workable depth at this point. Sometimes you use Open Cup to try and manufacture that. But at the same point in time, I think Dean Smith, from what he said, they're going to try to go for it. Now, does that mean you see Wilfred Zaha playing a full 90? I don't know. So from that perspective, there's a lot of, I think, open concepts of interpretation that you can take and parse from Dean Smith's comments. But from what he said, they are definitely going to go for it with a representative side.
Well, Palaszczuk, voice of Charlotte FC, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Are you saying Wilfred Zaha will be in the matchday squad tonight? Because that would be great, because if he's here, it doesn't make any sense to bring him here if he's not going to come on. He's one of the more dynamic players that we will see in the league. I hope he's going to play. And I have another question about it. So real quick about Zaha. Yes?
So the unfortunate thing about the roster with Open Cup is you can only dress 18. So if you want to stay away from a guy, you can't. You dress 20 in Major League Soccer and most other leagues around the world. But the Open Cup only lets you dress 18. So if you wanted to stay away from a guy, it makes no sense to bring him. So I think basically what I'll say to you is, if he's rostered, he's going to play. If they want to stay away from him, you won't see him on the 18. I don't mean to hedge the question. I don't know 100% if he's going to play or not. So I think that's kind of the way I'll say it is, if they want to stay away from him, they won't roster him.
Yeah, real quick about MLS and U.S. Open Cup. I wish as a league, this is not an editorial comment about Charlotte FC. I wish as a league they cared more about it because it is a great competition.
Mm-hmm.
And
of course.
I understand why they have hedged. There is a power struggle between the U.S. Open Cup, outfit and Major League Soccer. I totally get it, but I really wish that everybody was more on board with this. Look, I just use this as an example. Liverpool didn't dress an A side at Plymouth Argyle. They lost, and they cared about it after they lost. They didn't care about it enough to dress a better squad, although they probably still should have won the game. But that's what
I'll tell you. I'll tell you from what Dean Smith said. He again came in this job last year, and he basically was like, a lot of these decisions were made either at the league level or not even at the ownership level. He said he didn't know why they weren't in the Open Cup last year. He would have liked to play in the Open Cup a year ago instead of having Crown Legacy represent us. So I think it comes down to everybody has individual thoughts about it. I would like to see, from an editorial standpoint, this is me talking, not representative of the club talking, I would like to see some more roster opening rules to where you could use more of your player pathway guys in order to have those things happen, so to where you're not feeling like you have to use all your first teamers, and that it does provide that. But at the same point in time, you want Charlotte FC players to be playing for Charlotte FC. So at the same point in time, so I get why they don't want to do that, but at the same point in time, I would like to see the rosters expanded to a level to where, you're limited by the 30 that you have. So from that perspective, asking them to play a 34-round season, U.S. Open Cup, Leagues Cup, playoffs. I mean, we're going all the way into December if you go to the MLS Cup, and they restart again in February. So it does offer some match congestion, which I can understand from the league standpoint. They want to try to avoid.
Yeah, I mean, it does, however, sound a little bit like the top European leagues, which I think we should be okay with, right?
They got the same. They got the Club World Cup too in the summer too. Now they've got a brand new ball of wax to go in, and you got some players sitting there. Kevin De Bruyne came out and said, my contract's up at the end of the league season. I don't want to play in the Club World Cup.
He doesn't.
Same kind of thing.
He doesn't, and Real is trying to get Trent Alexander-Arnold on board sooner than his contract runs out, so he can take part in it. Let me get to the NBA playoffs with Will Palaszczuk at Willie P. Style on Twitter. Which game surprised you more last night? I know the answer for me. Denver's win in OKC or the Knicks beating Boston?
The Knicks game, obviously. And not just the result itself, but the game within the game. The fact that New York had to come back from 20 down to not only make it a game, but then ultimately outright win. Mikal Bridges had an incredible game, a warrior out there defensively and also making some shots too as well. I felt like Denver would have something for Oklahoma City. Now, do I have them, outright winning the series? I don't think so. But I thought Denver would definitely put up more of a representative fight in this series than I thought New York would for Boston. But you think about the way New York has gone through their offseason and gone through their roster build, they basically want to be their version of Boston. And that's why, they went out and got Karl Anthony Towns. That's why they have all that length and all that opportunity to shoot. They've got a great inside-out game, and Boston kind of fell in love with the three, and it did not love them back, as you may have known, the way that game went.
60? They were 50. They made 15, which is a pretty nice number. If you make 15 threes, you're probably good. But if you shoot 60 of them and just make 15, it's not so good.
Not ideal. Not ideal. But, hey, that's how way a lot of these teams play. I mean, Charles Lee came over from that Boston system. He wants them to play that way. It's all about the analytics. They tell me 3 is more than 2, but as I will always retort, 2 is also more than 0. So be that as it may.
That is true. It all depends on the percentage that you shoot from 3 versus the percentage you shoot from 2. You only need to make 1/3 of your 3s if you make half of your 2s. and that
True.
ends up being the same.
Did you read a James Naismith book or something? I know that he didn't have the 3-point shot.
He did not. They were shooting at peach baskets back then.
That's true.
And they did not have anything called analytics.
That's true.
They were also wearing like probably dress shoes.
Not for nothing. Not for nothing though. He did coach at Kansas, so you had to speak slower for them.
Oh, spoken like a Mizzou grad. That is so beautiful.
You know, they have a thing there at Missouri where they will not capitalize the letter K in Kansas because it is neither a proper name nor a proper place.
That is beautiful. On that note, we will say goodbye to Will Palaszczuk at Willie P. Style on Twitter, the voice of Charlotte FC. I hope you guys fall gently tonight.
That's
gently.
Funny. That's funny. That's funny. May the best Carolina team win.
There you go, man. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
You got it. Will Palaszczuk here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, when we come back, we have one-timers. Back to Game 1 tonight. Why it matters maybe not as much as you think to the team that wins this series, but it's the first time in a while the Hurricanes have started on the road. That didn't go well the last time. Game 1 and one-timers next.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. The NBA conference semifinals are here, and even though we are without a king, no more monarchy in the NBA playoffs, we are still ready for you. And FanDuel, for new customers, $200 in bonus bets await when you place your first $5 wager. You don't even have to win it. How good is that? FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS. The NBA conference semifinals in full swing. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Imagine a school where you could study AI and ancient Egypt. Become a National Honor Student, join a cooking club, or code the next big video game, and do it all in a comfortable space. Your own home. Welcome to NC Cyber Academy, a K-12 tuition-free virtual charter school that provides you with a flexible, personalized education designed to prepare you for college and a career. Visit myncca.com and discover a learning experience that works for you, your family, and your future.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Do you know someone who's lost a loved one to overdose? Every day, the disease of addiction is taking lives and devastating families. But this crisis is preventable. Join the Governor's Institute in the Be a Superhero in the Overdose Battle campaign. Together, we can spread awareness, fight stigma, and save lives. Learn the signs of overdose. Know how to help. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero today, because doing nothing shouldn't be an option. Be a hero. Take action. Save a life.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made
right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today. To the people of North Carolina, for 70 years, you've helped to make PBS North Carolina a trusted friend in your home. We've watched history unfold with Henry Louis Gates Jr., explored new worlds with Mr. Rogers, and found treasures together on Antiques Roadshow. Your support has helped us continue teaching, entertaining, and inspiring generations. Celebrate with us when you watch new programming on PBS NC or stream anytime on the free PBS app. Learn more about PBS North Carolina at pbsnc.org.
This is Adam Gold.
I did love that Rod video with him, though, when he was trying to communicate.
Yeah, you speak hockey.
And he was like, it's okay, you don't need to know this, you know hockey. And I was like, oh, heartstrings. It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. We have a reason we're playing No Doubt?
It's just a banger. I know
it's one of a dynamite album, Tragic Kingdom.
No, I needed to bring it back. I don't think the kids call things bangers anymore.
They don't?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I do.
I think so.
Yeah. It slaps.
My son uses it. It
Does
slaps.
he?
Yeah, my son uses that.
It's fire. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, no, that's a tremendous album. By the way, real quick, shout out to Michael White, a journalism professor, if you will, at Guilford. I was a guest speaker for their class today.
Oh, fun!
Yes, journalism class, and it was cool to talk about how I got into this dumb business and what we talk about.
Yep.
And answer questions that they might have. I enjoyed doing that. I don't think it's the first time I've been with their class, but it was cool to do it.
Oh, fun!
And I did it via Zoom, so it even made it better where I didn't have to leave.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Yeah. Did you tell them about our margarita conversation?
I didn't. We didn't have enough time to get into all the dumb things that we do.
Man.
And that's not dumb in an idiotic sense,
no.
but
silly.
Part of what we do, is like the number one job of our show is not to inform.
Yes.
Nope.
It's entertain.
Absolutely.
Are you not entertained?
That's job one. Because I could give you a whole bunch of stats.
Yeah.
And we'd all be asleep by
exactly.
12:45.
Done.
Not that some of us aren't already. Anyway, we have enough time to do one-timers.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
And we have plenty of questions. You can put it in the YouTube stream. I will see it there. Or you can tweet at us, either one. But first up, we've got, what are your keys to success for the Canes tonight?
Oh, gosh.
I know.
Look, Washington's going to come out and probably try to hit Carolina 60 times tonight.
Tom Wilson.
Yeah, it's not just, it's honestly, we get caught up in the Tom Wilson. I'm not joking about this with Wilson. A few years ago, he stopped being goon who could play and is now great player, and I will push back. If you don't believe Tom Wilson is a great player, I'm sorry you're not watching.
You're not watching, yeah.
Tom Wilson is a great player.
With a sprinkle of goon.
Who has goon tendencies.
Yeah.
Carolina cannot get drawn into Washington's extracurriculars. Now, you can't not be physical. You're going to have to. And Carolina was plenty physical against the Devils. I am not worried that Carolina won't match what Washington offers. You can't get drawn into it. You can't be a parade to the penalty box. If Carolina can stay out of the penalty box, let's say a cap of 3 Washington power plays. No more than that. I think the Canes will win the game tonight.
All right. I hope so. Well, moving on to the next one. Is Freddie upright and no longer seeing stars?
Freddie's fine.
Okay.
Freddie is fine. Speaking of which, anybody who watched Florida-Toronto last night, Anthony Stolarz, Toronto's goalie, took a shot right off the front of the mask.
Yes.
In the first period. Mask came off. He looked fine. Later, I guess it was in the second period, Sam Bennett skated in front of the crease and just kind of gave a little forearm to the side of the head. Honestly, I'm no Sam Bennett lover.
Yeah.
Unless he wants to play here.
Right.
But I didn't think that there was much in that, and there was no penalty called. They didn't even review it. And even if they had reviewed it, they would have probably seen at the time, yeah, there's not a lot of contact there. But Stolarz went down, and my initial reaction when Stolarz went down was he's trying to draw a call. Well, Stolarz, about 2 minutes later, came out of the game and was seen vomiting on the bench, which is a bad sign, by the way, for anybody that has had a concussion.
Concussion, yeah.
So, but my sense is that he got hurt on that shot that he took off the mask. Not anything else. Sam Bennett likely is not going to face any supplemental discipline. I think the league looks at that hit much like they looked at Timo Meier. Not a ton there. Clearly avoidable. Should have been called a penalty in real time. I'm sorry, did I go too long?
That's okay.
Do we have a quick one? No?
It probably won't be quick.
No, never mind.
Yeah.
We're out of...
It's okay.
There's two timers.
We'll address it. Yeah, later.
Right. I'll talk a little bit more about that and the NBA playoffs and why Clemson and Notre Dame playing every year is awesome for other ACC teams.
Talking sports so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's Hockey Night in Carolina Playoff Edition. It's Game 1 with Washington.
Svechnikov, he scores! That's the magic! We're tied at 3!
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6. Puck Drop at 7.
Sebastiano wins it on the power play in overtime!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Make your next tailgate more electric when you plug into a new Ford F-150 or Super Duty truck. Not only do they light up the scoreboard with outstanding payload and towing numbers, with available Pro Power on board, you can turn these Ford trucks into mobile generators to give your tailgate party an extra boost of energy. Visit your Carolina Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com for great offers and to learn more about F-150 and Super Duty. See Owner's Manual for important operating instructions.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing. Made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories. All without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew. 30 seconds. That's it. Done. Peace.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto, using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked a homeowner in with an APR in the low fives, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
What? New scratch-offs are out? That means new chances to become a North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club member.
Yeah, in the Winners Club, I'll reinvent myself. I won't go by just plain Todd. I'll go by Toddrick. I'll get a gold jacket, play my saxophone again. I'll stop and even smell the flowers. Call my mom more.
Oh, wrap it up, Todd.
It's Toddrick.
This month's scratch-offs pack over $100 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.35 to 4.58. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
What? All the budget has to be used now? And we can use all the media buy?
Javier's marketing firm just got its dream funding.
Okay, ideas. Bobbleheads? No. T-shirt cannon? I seriously need some help here.
He needs to find marketing managers who are worth every dollar.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Sponsoring a job on Indeed gives it a visibility boost, so you can hire faster. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Blake, he'll step out in front. Marshall, he can't stop it. Jackson Blake, his first playoff goal. And this place has been amped to 11. It's a one-goal game here in Carolina. Orlov wants to make a move. Up top, Svechnikov, he scores! That's the magic! We're tied at 3! Back for Gossesbear. Oh, game over! Series over! Sebastian Aho wins it on the power play in overtime!
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Hard to believe that was a week ago. It feels like longer to me. Feels like Carolina has been off for significantly longer than 1 week. It is just 7 days. A week ago today is when Carolina dispatched New Jersey. They will get back on it tonight in Washington on the road. The road was not kind to Florida last night. I still think the Panthers are going to win that series. Unless Sergei Bobrovsky isn't going to be better than he was last night, in which case they will not win this series. There is some question as to whether or not, well, not some question. We don't know the status of Anthony Stolarz, Toronto's goaltender, who left the game with a concussion last night. Took a puck right off the mask in the first period, and the effect of which, and brain injuries are very, very serious, and that's what a concussion is. We and sports has taught us this, by the way. All sports has taught us to shake it off. That's what sports has taught us. I get it. Everybody wants to. It's why players will try to hide their own concussions. That's why Tua Tagovailoa, like, I'm ready, let's go, let's play. I do not in any way, it doesn't bother me when players do that, when players do everything they can to get back on the field, on the court, on the ice, whatever it is. It does not bother me because they are wired to play. And in some cases, not in all, but in some cases, their job is on the line. Because if you miss time and you feel like you can play, if you miss time, somebody could come in and replace you. In that case, you're out of a job. Now, you might diminish that by saying, well, you can go anywhere. Yes, that is at times true, but not always. So I understand it. But we talk about concussions as though they are normal injuries, and they are not. There is nothing normal about a bruised brain, and that is what a concussion is. So you may feel like there's no such thing as a mild concussion. Players at times will recover from those injuries faster than others. Some players feel the effects of them longer. We just don't know. I say that because the last time the Hurricanes and the Capitals met, we all know what happened to Andrei Svechnikov. He got his lights turned out by Alexander Ovechkin in a fight, and we did not see, guys fight all the time. And guys get hit with punches and hit other players with punches all the time. And in most cases, that does not cause any long-term, in terms of missing games, damage. Now, long-term damage, real long-term damage, I think we're finding out that sports that involve head trauma, whether they lead to concussions or not, do lead to problems later in life. So I don't want to diminish it. But again, the sports always diminish it.
Yeah, that's why Luke Kuechly got out. Love him.
You remember, just to bring it as close to home as possible, you remember when they took him off on the cart.
Yes.
Right?
That was scary. And he was emotional.
Crying.
That made me emotional. Like, oh, Luke. Sad. It's not good.
I don't know Luke. I've never had a conversation with Luke Kuechly. He wasn't crying and emotional because he was thinking about the potential of his career ending, right?
No.
He was crying and emotional because he really was not in control of his emotions.
Yeah.
Because he was concussed again.
Mm-hmm.
You're not thinking at that point. You're just being.
It's involuntary.
Yep. So we have to be, over time, we must be better about how we talk about these things and how the league has a responsibility to their players. So the NHL is supposed to have spotters, right, that see things. As I was reading online last night, that their concussion spotters, who are supposed to be experts, should have noticed that Stolarz was doing something that they call shake. Not like shake, but when, for no real reason, you do a couple of head shakes. It's because you are experiencing something that, voluntary or otherwise, you feel like you need to shake your head to clear your head.
Fighters do it all the time.
Yes, they do. Head trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that was a scary moment last night.
Yeah.
And Toronto isn't as good with Joseph Woll, although he's good, as they are with Anthony Stolarz, who was the backup, by the way, to Sergei Bobrovsky last year. Yeah. So, Florida had a pretty good team. This just in. So, anyway, it's certainly worth keeping tabs on as you're watching Toronto and Florida. Toronto won't be as good if they can't get Anthony Stolarz back. But, of course, Florida won't be as good if they can't get the real Sergei Bobrovsky back. They need a better version of him. All right, take two.
It's a little pause for dramatic effect.
Yeah, exactly. We got two games tonight. Canes in Washington to take on the Capitals, game one. Also game one, the Oilers and the Golden Knights in Vegas. Vegas is probably the best equipped team to take down the Oilers, but I would point this out. Nobody's equipped to deal with McDavid and Draisaitl.
No.
When they're going, you just better score.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep scoring.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Vegas can score, and the Oilers aren't great on the back end, nor are they great in goal. It should be Calvin Pickard again. He'll play as long as he's viable, and then they'll go back to Stuart Skinner, who did take him to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup last year as he got better as the playoffs wore on. But Edmonton pretty much rode special teams all the way there.
Yes.
They're going to need special teams to be spectacular in order to beat Vegas. All right, that's the other series tonight. And then tomorrow we get into, we had Game 2, Florida and Toronto, and Game 1 between Dallas and Winnipeg. Dallas might be fully operational for that series, meaning Miro Heiskanen is back and Jason Robertson is back. Don't know the status of either of those players. Real quick, I thought the biggest story, and we're going to talk about this with Wes Durham coming up in about 10 minutes. We talked last week about the Atlantic Coast Conference potential to revamp how they schedule in football. That was about basketball. And they should. We should, because they were talking about it in terms of getting more teams in the NCAA tournament. That's the goal, but that shouldn't be the reasoning for your changing how you do business, how you put your schedules together. The goal should always be, how do we put our schools in the best position to, advance, whether it's in playoffs in football or in the NCAA tournament in basketball, just get invited. And the answer is not to do it through scheduling. The answer is to do it through getting better. So you should do all things to make yourselves better. The reason why you enhance scheduling, why you revamp how you schedule, is to make your league more fan-friendly and more TV-friendly. And so it's not about, I understand what the end goal is, but it's not about how do we game the system to trick it into thinking we're better, although that has worked in the past for other leagues. It should be, how do we put together a schedule that our fans will like more, that television will like more, and that also won't hurt us and may help us to get that out to that other goal. But when you're putting your schedules together, you should be trying to make TV happy and your fans happy. Those two things generally will go hand in hand. So Clemson and Notre Dame are doing it. They're going to play each other every year through 2038. Now, as we're going to talk to Wes Durham about this in about 10 minutes. And let's just pretend that by 2038, we're still going to have what we are enjoying today in terms of college sports in a similar structure. I would not wager on that this is going to be possible, but let's just pretend for the sake of the discussion. But the fact that Clemson and Notre Dame are going to play every year is, at least half the time, good for the ACC because it is part of the ACC's television package. The other half of that will be Notre Dame's television package. Florida State and Miami are going to explore similar arrangements with Notre Dame. Now, it is worth noting that this would be outside of the normal framework of the ACC's deal with Notre Dame, in which case they have to play at least 5 non-conference games against ACC teams each year. So some of those years they don't play Clemson. In those years, this matchup will fall outside of Notre Dame's allotment of 5 or even 6. It's possible that Notre Dame could have 7 scheduled games against the ACC. Here's what I would suggest to Notre Dame, and I'm sure they've had this discussion. You don't have to schedule, honestly. With all respect to Cal, with all respect to Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, Duke. You don't need that. Notre Dame doesn't have to play them. Sorry. Sorry to the fans of those programs. Notre Dame doesn't need to play a game at Wallace Wade Stadium. They don't need to sell your tickets. Same thing at Wake Forest. Same thing at Georgia Tech, although there is more history there with Bobby Dodd Stadium and all that. But Notre Dame should, for the betterment of them, and they are an interested party here, the ACC should be interested in Notre Dame's well-being. I'm sorry, I'm not one of the bitter people who thinks that Notre Dame is just taking. I think Notre Dame gives at least as much as they take from their arrangement with the ACC. But if I were Jim Phillips, I would want Notre Dame to be happy with this arrangement because it does benefit the league, and to have them play as many games as possible against teams that enhance what they have in terms of their schedule. So more Clemsons, more Florida States, more Miamis, more Louisvilles, more, we hope, North Carolinas and NC States. We want those games to be part of Notre Dame's schedule. We want them to make Notre Dame's schedule better. I mean, any good salesperson. So if you sell, let's say you sell widgets, right? Just in case you're selling widgets. You want your potential widget buyers, you want their business to succeed. That's what good salespeople do. They don't sell you stuff. They help your business. And if I were the ACC, I would want to help Notre Dame. That's the way I look at it.
Makes sense.
So Clemson playing Notre Dame is great for the ACC. More of that. More of that. All right, we're going to talk about that with Wes Durham when the voice of the ACC joins us. I don't know if he has thoughts on the love life of North Carolina's new football coach. Hopefully he doesn't, and we could just move on. But we will ask. We'll talk about Tar Heel football, though, and also NC State basketball, because Will Wade is recarving Mount Rushmore over in Raleigh. And we'll also talk about Clemson v. Notre Dame 2.0, I guess. Next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the offseason, but it doesn't mean me and my co-host, WREL TV's Chris Lee, take a break from our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as training camp approaches, insights on the rookies, the free agents, and the surprises, plus all the insider info on the upcoming season. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcast or watch on YouTube.
We just celebrated International Female Ride Day, which is the first Saturday in May, but it's also still Motorcycle Awareness Month for everyone to remember some keys to staying safe out there. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers, and I am no stranger to riding, but if you're a new rider, I always like to inform people to ride defensively. So many people are driving distracted nowadays, so you never want to assume someone in a vehicle can see you because that can cause an accident that was not your fault. Now, we never want that to happen, but if it does, call Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too, and they know the value of your bike and your gear and the investment you have put into everything. Case evaluations are always free, and you won't pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
At Planet Fitness, we're declaring it. This is the year of getting stronger, and you can get started now by saving when you join today. We have all the best-in-class equipment you could ever need, and you can work out your way on your time at any convenient location near you. Most open 24 hours. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Offer ends May 16th. Proud partner of the Carolina Hurricanes.
See Home Club for details.
And we're back talking all things connectivity with Spectrum customers Kev and Melissa. So tell us, how long have you been with Spectrum, and how important is a reliable internet connection?
We've been Spectrum customers since we moved 12 years ago. The first thing we did is sign up for Spectrum Internet.
You get a lease, you get it Wi-Fi.
Yes,
immediately.
We need that. We had Spectrum Wi-Fi before our couch got here.
That's true. That's a true story.
I'll sleep on the floor, but I won't go to bed with no internet.
You heard it here. Switch to Spectrum now.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I am in studio with my friend Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Variety is the spice of life. It is also the spice of siding and the spice of windows. A lot of different styles. Walk me through siding and then windows, if you could, sir.
Sure. So siding, we've got vinyl siding and James Hardy fiber cement siding, and there are tons of options within each one. You've got board and batten, you've got horizontal lap siding, beads or no beads, or there's all kinds of stuff. So we come out to your house, take a look at it with you. If you don't know what you want, we're happy to help you figure something out. But if you know what you want, then we're happy to help you find it. Bottom line is we can do pre-painted siding, we can do primed siding and then have it painted, or vinyl siding, which you never have to paint, or 15 years on the Color Plus. So again, I know I'm spitting off a lot of options here, but that's what we're here for, to come out and make this a lot simpler. So we'll come out, measure your house, talk about siding and windows, and give you prices on all things the day of.
800-672-4348, aluminumcompany.com, all sorts of styles and options for windows and siding and more.
Boot Barn honors a Western legacy built by those who persevere through resourceful determination. Ariat honors that same legacy by bringing innovative technology to classic pieces. Driven by a dedication to the craft, Ariat blends timeless Western artistry with advanced performance features for the modern cowboy and rodeo athlete. Out west, ingenuity is second to none. Ariat at Boot Barn.
This is Adam Gold.
While I'm watching Colombia, Uruguay, not only the end of that match, but the fight in the stands after it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Heard it got spicy.
That was the most excited fans we have seen in 5 years at Bank of America Stadium. Man, look at all the happy people at Bank of America.
Just took the other kind of football.
Yeah, there you go. More of that.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Hey, look at this. I am reading that Craig Berube, Toronto's head coach, wouldn't rule out Anthony Stolarz starting in Game 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm just going to guess at this point that the Maple Leafs don't have a neurologist on staff. I'm just going to guess.
Yeah.
Because, again, this is what I said, right? Shake it off.
Rub some dirt on it.
Shake it off. Rub some ice shavings on it. All right. Later on, by the way, a gentleman who's up in D.C. is going to talk Canes Caps with us and maybe some hoops. But right now, the voice of the Atlantic Coast Conference, the reason the ACC turns a profit, Wes Durham joins us on the Adam Gold Show. I love making you laugh with that every time, sir. How are you?
Good. It is also a frightening thought that you use that term, especially in these volatile days of landscapeness, right?
That is very true. That is very true. So I did see in my television channel surfing travels a roundtable discussion on the ACC Network with you and mostly the fellas, although the second best person on that panel was Andrea Adelson, discussing the North Carolina football situation. And I don't know what to even say about it other than, do you have any thoughts on the romantic relationship of the head coach?
No.
I was hoping that was going to be the answer.
Well, I mean, let me just say this. I mean, whatever. I mean, he's there to coach the football team at the University of North Carolina. That's the reason the people, the powers that be, and some who assume they were the powers, brought him there, right? They want him to coach the University of North Carolina and make Carolina football relevant.
Right.
They would hope that that happens in football. Right now, their relevancy is tied to something else.
Yeah.
And that's not good. And my feeling is that the people who care for the University of North Carolina at all, I mean, like the entire institution itself, athletics, football, what have you, are trying to get this put back on football, which is what they should do. And I think that's why you're seeing things get very quiet, which they should be because it's May the 6th, right? Yeah. And it should be quiet on May the 6th. The mistakes or the missteps that have been made are you know plenty of people in public relations and corporate communications who can identify all that. I don't have to speculate on it.
Right.
Then for the most important thing for the University of North Carolina, in my opinion, and I would say this if it weren't Carolina and somebody else, that they need to focus on football. And right now, most of college football is very, very quiet. And that's probably what they're trying to find right now is a lot of quiet, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know there are people that would suggest that Bill Belichick cancel his book tour because every time they do an interview, it is just bringing up all of these other stories.
Sure.
I know they're trying to sell a book.
Yeah, but this is what happens when you hire Bill Belichick.
Correct.
Some of this is, I mean, look, at Bill Belichick, I'm going to throw some teams out there. Let's say Bill Belichick had gone to Jacksonville. Bill Belichick gone to Chicago. Bill Belichick gone to, I mean, even Atlanta a year ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of this would have been in play. The book, now, the NFL typically does a pretty good job of, arm's length things that are distractions that don't have anything to do with the comings and goings of the National Football League, right?
Mm-hmm.
They do a pretty good job of distancing themselves from social life issues type thing, right? Because there's that line that people cross. That's their personal life. That's their professional life. Well, at the University of North Carolina, or when he took a college job, you and I both know the mixing and matching of that is not quite as clearly defined as it might be in the National Football League.
Right.
And that's what has happened, obviously, here in Chapel Hill, is that some of the abstract things that are of no bearing on winning and losing games have become the storyline here, and all the University of North Carolina wants, and quite frankly, all anybody wants who covers ACC football is, can we just get to the football portion of this program?
Well, and that's the problem, right? Because there is no football. It's not like the NFL, right?
It's
right.
May 6th. Yeah, we're a long way.
In the NFL, we just had the draft, so there's draft stuff still, like the back end of the draft news is still there. You've got rookie camps, mini camps coming up. We're not that far from training camp. So there's always NFL news to take away this stuff. Right now, there will be nothing in college football apart from like a scheduling announcement or maybe some, transfer portal news, although, Iamaleava is already there in UCLA now. We don't have that drama anymore. So there's a void, kind of sitting there. One more thing about this, and then I want to move on to Clemson, Notre Dame.
Sure.
I do wonder, because there are a lot of people who have been automatically against this move that say it will never work. Bill Belichick will fail at, coaching at UNC for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. And I get the sense that many of those same people are looking at this and saying this is another reason why it will fail at UNC, even though this situation and football really have no connection at all. I think they're just making that leap, and I don't know that it's not adding to this problem.
I think we got to let it play out before we can, say anything further on that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've actually got to see the football product go. I didn't go to the scrimmage, so the open practice at Keenan.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see any. The interesting part is I haven't seen much social media about it, nor did I expect to. The only social media I saw of the event didn't have anything to do with football.
Right.
So, and it wasn't off the Carolina channel, right? It was off the, people in the stands or, whatever. So for me, the best interest of Carolina as somebody who covers the ACC is I would like to have, and much like what we did last week when we taped those ACC Huddle preview shows for each of the 17 schools, we were trying to postscript of spring analyze and look at what the capabilities and the concerns were of each of those schools. Carolina's concern has to be who's going to be the quarterback.
Right.
Carolina's concern has to be, can Steve Belichick make them better on defense?
Mm-hmm.
And if so, what will they be? And I thought Dave Clawson brought up a really interesting point about the way they'll line up and how everybody plays a hybrid front now. Bill is from the 3-4 school. I should say Coach Belichick is from the 3-4 school, but his 3-4 is different than, say, other 3-4s.
Yeah.
Does he have the personnel? Bo Atkinson left to go in the transfer portal. I don't know why Bo Atkinson left. Was it money? Was it whatever? Could have been the fact that Bo Atkins, from a personnel standpoint, doesn't play every down in their 3-4, right? I mean, maybe he was a personnel that was going to be down and distance situational. I mean, I don't know. Those are the kinds of things I'd like to know about Carolina.
Right.
In addition to, is Goss going to be the running back? Is it going to be a scenario? I'd like to kind of know where the wide receiver thing. Now that Gavin Blackwell's transferred, who's the fastest guy on the team? Gavin Blackwell was a guy who could stretch the field north and south, according to Mac Brown and Chip Lindsey a year ago. So I'd like to know who's the capable guy to stretch the field, and how good do they think they're going to be in the offensive and defensive line. And look, oh, by the way, Josh Hoover's coming in here with TCU on Monday night, Labor Day night, and TCU going to be pretty good now. I mean, Carolina will have to be buttoned up, and I think they're going to be well coached. I think that does translate.
Yeah.
And I think that if you look at their staff, they're interesting from that standpoint in the staff composition. We talked a little bit about that on the show last week. But I do believe, as others say, the schedule is there for the taking in the front half, sans Clemson, if they've got their act together.
Wes Durham is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. He is the reason that the conference turns a profit. Now,
great. I'm going to Amelia Island Monday, and I'm going to be met with, hey, by the way, I hear that you're the reason we make money.
That's right. There are people going to be hitting you up for loans.
It's a falsely reported rumor.
Here's the you did 17 of those. I'm having a hard time processing how long it took to record all of those. We'll have to have that discussion another time. That's got to be 3 days worth of recording. All right, let me ask you about Clemson versus Notre Dame, because I'm pretty sure that it was either our last discussion or the one before where we got into the fact that the league needed to do scheduling better. Now, this is not the league doing this. This is Clemson and Notre Dame doing this independent of the league, but it definitely impacts the league because those Clemson games are part of the ACC's package.
Sure they are.
And
exactly. And this is what we talked about when all the stuff was announced from the legal perspective, right?
Yep.
We talked about the potential, and it was reported that there might be potential scheduling models that allowed Notre Dame to perhaps take a stronger foothold as to who they played in the league.
They should.
And the interesting thing for me about this is that we are on the verge, and I don't know that – I mean, you've read, obviously, Brandon Marcello's articles on 20 to 18 with basketball.
Yes.
But I would say this. If I'm watching this happen in football, I'd like to know how we can possibly manipulate some of this in basketball too.
Me too. I would do. First of all, I love Clemson, Notre Dame playing in football every year. I hope that we get similar thing, maybe not identical because it'd be hard for Notre Dame to do that with Florida State, for Notre Dame to do that with Miami. North Carolina could be part of that equation, especially as if Belichick does take UNC football to another level. I think that scheduling is, and I'll fold this into basketball here in a sec, but scheduling should be made not with the idea of making you better for playoffs or the NCAA tournament. Scheduling should be made to make your television package better and to appeal to your fans better.
Correct.
You do those two things, if you do them well, and at the same time your programs get better, then the other things will take care of themselves.
Well,
I think we do it
I agree with
backwards.
that. No, I agree with you on that. I think that's a really important statement. Let me offer something that probably will not be well received by some.
Okay.
I think it is okay to re-rack the football schedule every year.
I'm with you.
I think it's okay to do it. I think you can lay out what you think you might do, but I think it's okay to re-rack the schedule every year. And in the process, if you do that, then you have an opportunity to formulate your best television package of games, not just in conference, but also in non-conference. And the reason I say that is because if the reports out of Dallas are true from the CFP meetings, that there is a hint of consideration of television ratings being involved in who ultimately ends up in the expanded playoff, Adam,
yeah,
you got to do it.
Absolutely.
I don't care if the reports are accurate or not. There's just a hint of speculation. And if that's all you've got, that's enough reason for me to say, well, we probably ought to look at the best television offer we can do. And if we're going to do it in football, I don't see why we can't do it in basketball. And to that effect, I certainly understand if we're going to go forward 25-26 with the 18 games being you play everybody once and somebody twice. I understand that for this year. If you want to do that, that's fine. But beyond this year, there needs to be some consideration about the depth and value of what your television package brings in basketball as well.
All right, so let's
from a competitive standpoint.
Let's just kick that forward because not every team plays each other in football.
That's right.
Not every team plays each other in baseball. For the life of me, I cannot figure out why it is a must that every team plays each other in basketball.
Adam, you have reached that side of the mountain with me. because here's the thing. They're not going to be, by saying you play everybody once, doesn't mean that you're going to either enhance or diminish your schedule. The variance is negligible in my opinion, right? Okay.
I would have the best teams playing each other twice each. I don't care if Duke doesn't play, Cal doesn't play, Stanford doesn't play, Pitt. Sorry, Jeff Capel, I love you like a brother. If Duke doesn't play Pitt, I think we will all survive. I'm not saying never, but Duke should play Carolina twice. Duke, I think, is certainly in this the way Will Wade is resurrecting the roster for NC State. Duke and the Wolfpack should play twice. We shouldn't lose those absolute rivalries because we must play SMU once in a schedule. No, we don't need to have that.
Look, the dollars are such of a variance right now across the board in the ACC. Remember, you have 3 schools here that have been cut to the deal in different lights,
yes,
right?
That's right.
Okay. So for me, you can then fiddle with the basketball. And if you want to play it the 16 and one team twice, that's fine. Do it this year, see what it bears. But remember now, the 2 games that you're reducing means that your school has to go find competitive non-conference games. You can't be playing Bug Tussle. You can't be playing Acme Tech. You got to go play people. And that quest is going to be very interesting to see when the schedules come out. And let me also say this, too. Here's another probably unpopular thought.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to keep the rotation at 16 and 1, 16 for 1 and 2 for 1 to get to your 18, then by all means, the revenue stream is there for the renewal of the Big Four.
Yeah.
The revenue will be there if you want to renew the Big Four. And here's the other thing, too. And there's no, in my opinion, there is no excuse to not try this one time. You need to move the ACC SEC challenge to late January, early February.
Yeah.
and play it out over television, just like you do in December when, quite frankly, not many people are watching college basketball. If you want to move it to the off week between the championship games and the Super Bowl, if you want to move it to Super Bowl week, do it. Up to you. But you can play those tournaments. You can play that event in the course of late January, early February, and increase the viewership and I think enhance your revenue opportunity as well with your television partner.
Yeah, would ESPN be interested in that event in January, February, right in that time?
They were interested in the SEC Big 12 that time of year.
Okay, then they should do it.
Yeah,
they should absolutely do it.
Did the SEC Big 12 was the week before the Super Bowl or the week after the Super Bowl.
You should absolutely do it. Look, I suggested a long time ago. This is when Pitino and Boeheim were both still coaching and their teams were good, that we take the 4 biggest brands in basketball in the league and we have them play a double header, whether it didn't have to be in the same location, but a TV double header the Saturday of Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah, and remember, Adam, some of this foreign thinking was the same thinking we had 20 years ago when we said the tournament, once the tournament went to Tampa, remember the old once it goes to Tampa, it can go anywhere?
Yes.
Well, guess what? We've gone to Tampa in the football schedule. We've gone to Tampa in the basketball schedule now. We can go anywhere.
That's right. That's part of the greatest minds in ACC sports Saturday morning at the ACC tournament.
Oh, boy.
We'll never.
Oh, bless you.
That was exactly right. The exact phrase I was thinking about saying to you. Wes Durham, at Wes Durham on Twitter. Enjoy Amelia Island. I will let you go here. Appreciate your time. I know you're heavily invested in the Hurricanes over the Capitals starting tonight.
Dude, look, let me just tell you this. I am all in on Brenden Moore's team.
Okay, good.
Because you know me. It's the closest hockey I've got. I stayed up and watched the Jets and the Blues the other night in the double overtime because any American sports fan should always watch a Game 7 of a Stanley Cup playoff series that goes to overtime.
My gosh. Unbelievable drama.
It's as good as any other sporting event we can stage in North America when you have Game 7 Stanley Cup playoff elimination. And if it's the finals, then we double down on the drama. That's all.
It's unbelievable. And we had back-to-back nights of Game 7s.
Crazy, man.
An absolute heartbreak for teams that blew leads. It was amazing.
St. Louis has to live with that for 200 and what? Some days?
Yeah.
Like 210 or 205 or something like that?
They live with it until the playoffs start again, to be honest. The regular season can't cover that burn. There is no salve for that.
How about the first overtime turnover in their own zone by Winnipeg, and St. Louis misses the one-on-one shot from, 8 feet?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are so many moments in games, that, especially a sport as fast as hockey, so many moments.
By the way, the people doing it production-wise, like Kenny Albert the other night was terrific in Winnipeg. Sean McDonough and Bob Wischusen have done just marvelous work. So is Mike Monaco with ESPN.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it thoroughly. The television has been excellent as well, so it's been fun to watch.
Wes Durham, I appreciate your time, man. Enjoy Amelia Island. I will talk to you very soon.
Take care, AG. Anytime, you know that.
You got it. It's, that is Wes Durham, the one and only. There are only so many people who can be called the one and only. Wes Durham is on my one and only list. You know what? We should compile a one and only list. Do you have another one and only?
Rod Brendamore. Just
Very
off
good.
the top of my head, yeah.
Very good addition to the one and only list. We'll try to come up with more. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We have stretching to do, and we will place bets. I'm looking at my bets yesterday. That didn't work. That was close. Didn't work. The others are all futures. Nothing good yesterday.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Welcome to Tuesday. You know what Tuesdays are for. No, not tacos, although I'm not against it. Dinger Tuesdays at FanDuel. That means when you bet on dingers, moonshots, big flies, taters, long balls, you could take your winnings to a new level. Whether it's a big blast, Oppo Taco, I knew he would work taco in. FanDuel is your home for anytime home runs. FanDuel.com/AGS. Gear up, go yard all season long, especially on Tuesdays. FanDuel.com/AGS. Make every moment more with FanDuel. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and maximum wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Imagine a school where you can study AI and ancient Egypt, become a National Honor Student, join a cooking club, or code the next big video game, and do it all in a comfortable space. Your own home. Welcome to NC Cyber Academy, a K-12 tuition-free virtual charter school that provides you with a flexible, personalized education designed to prepare you for college and a career. Visit myncca.com and discover a learning experience that works for you, your family, and your future.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Every day, people battling addiction suffer in silence. Because of stigma, they fear judgment. They fear being labeled, and too often, they don't get the help they need. But you can help change that. Join the Governor's Institute and be a superhero in the overdose battle campaign. Learn how to break the stigma, support those in need, and save lives. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero to get involved. Be a hero, fight stigma, save a life.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today. To the people of North Carolina, for 70 years, you've helped to make PBS North Carolina a trusted friend in your home. We've watched history unfold with Henry Louis Gates Jr., explored new worlds with Mr. Rogers, and found treasures together on Antiques Roadshow. Your support has helped us continue teaching, entertaining, and inspiring generations. Celebrate with us when you watch new programming on PBS NC or stream anytime on the free PBS app. Learn more about PBS North Carolina at pbsnc.org.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
I'm really excited about next season, considering this was supposed to be a rebuild year. But with these new guys, like Bradley Nadeau, we've got Nikishin coming eventually. If we've got Hall still here, Jackson Blake, I mean, there's so much promise and potential. I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, and just wait till the big kid gets ready to play.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria is here. She's producing this program. We thank Wes Durham. God, we've had fun already. Will Palaszczuk joined us. Justin Williams joined us. How do we get better? Justin Williams would be on the one and only list.
Yeah? I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Chad LaRose for sure.
Yes. He's on the They Broke the Mold list. It's a different list.
Oh, man.
Chad is on the They Broke the Mold list.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll catch up with him during the week, I'm sure. All right, coming up next hour, Brenden Whitted will talk NBA playoffs with us as we get your keep you up to date on what's going on in the NBA. It's hard to focus on both the NBA and the NHL.
It is.
The playoffs go on simultaneously. I have tried to do 2 screens. I'm bad at 2 screens. I watched the overtime of Knicks Boston last night. I just flipped the score back because I was watching the hockey game. I flipped the score just to check the score because I guess my phone was too hard. I don't know. And I flipped the channel, and I'm like, they're going to overtime. I saw before they flashed the score, I saw a jump ball at mid-court, and I'm like, wait a second. They're in overtime?
Yeah.
Because the last I saw, Boston was, I didn't see it at the peak at 20 points, but I saw like 16 in the second half. I'm like, oh, Boston's running away with this.
Mm-hmm.
Guess not.
Yeah.
Guess not. So we'll talk NBA playoffs with Brenden. All right, it's time to stretch.
Okay, so I think this, as a show, we can agree on this next thing that I was reading because pet owners were asked this question. Would you shave off some years in your life to make your pet's lifespan longer?
Oh, wow.
I know, right? I know.
Well, it all depends. If I don't know how much more I have left.
And which pet is it going to? Harriet or Earl?
No offense to Harriet.
Don't listen, Harriet.
Harriet gets it. She understands.
Right.
She understands. It's part of the reason why she's such a... I can't say it.
Right. That one.
Yeah, it all depends on how much... Ooh, that's a tough one.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
Yes, of course.
Of course I would.
Oh,
my gosh. Biff and Kitty Carroll would get at least a year because a new study looked at the connection between pets and their humans' mental well-being. And 3 in 5 Americans claim that they would literally shave off years of their own life to help their pets live longer. I would totally.
If I knew I had like another 30...
Sure, yeah.
Right? Then I don't know.
Right. I mean, if we have the capability of shaving off our years, we should be able to know that.
Exactly. And I would, as long as I can keep Earl exactly the way he is right now.
Yes.
For all of it, yes.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, big time. And then later on in this article that I was reading, I thought this was funny too because it describes how long it takes for some pet owners to notice their mental well-being like declining after they've been away from their pet.
Right.
For some people, it's about 5 hours away when they start to see a decline, but about 41% it's 2. I get it because I want to take Biff everywhere with me. I want him just in a backpack, even though I'd probably be on his backpack because he's huge, like Earl. So a lot of people are agreeing with this. I'm curious what other people would do too. But yeah, it's and then also it says pet owners at least smile 11 times a day and laugh 9 times a day. That's minimum because we have silly pets. So I love pets so much. I would totally do that. Now, one thing I would totally not do, and this kid is going to learn a hard lesson from their mother. They are in Kentucky, and a second grader out in Kentucky decided that he wanted to order something off of his mom's phone, Amazon. Oh, yeah. This has happened before where kids would order things on their parents' phone and, get this huge Amazon bill. He decided to order 30 cases of Dum Dum Suckers. What? Off of Amazon. And each case, it gets better. Each case has 2,340 suckers, which means that she got 70,000 suckers for $4,000. Only $4,000. So, yeah, I read this story. She tried to talk with an Amazon representative. They at first were like, okay, this is fine. We can refund you. Don't worry about it. But the delivery driver delivered said suckers. And I guess once you deliver something, you can't refund it. at that point. You can't take it back. So she started selling these dum-dums off, but she was also telling people on social media. She reached out to like news places and stuff like that. I guess Amazon was trying to like save face, and so they said later on that they would refund it, but she had already started selling it. Like the black market sucker. The black
she could make a profit.
Market.
She could make the money back.
I know. Like, you should get that little kid that bought all these suckers
25
to work.
cents a dum-dum.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I know what this kid's new nickname is anyway.
You have a favorite one of those dum-dums?
I mean, I guess old school cherry.
Cream soda.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. It's a good
Cream soda, baby.
Yeah, that's a fancy one. You know what else is fancy? At least sometimes. Our picks.
Place your bets, place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you one.
All right, before we place bets, question from concerned listener. Are you going to Lincoln Park tonight? Is that why you bumped Lincoln Park?
Oh, no. So some people, some friends of mine and people on Twitter, there was a friend who requested that song, but they are going to be here tonight.
Yes.
I am not going to that concert.
There you go.
Tickets flew off the...
Question answered.
Yeah, it's one that I would go to, but I'm actually going to a rock festival next week. That's where I'm going to be, and they'll be there. So
All right,
I'll see them then.
Excellent.
So, first up, the Carolina Hurricanes obviously are in Washington taking on the Caps. I just really want to see this, so I'm kind of putting it out in existence. A Taylor Hall anytime goal scorer. He's plus 270.
Very nice. You know who the favorite is for the Hurricanes to score? Seth Jarvis.
Oh, I love it.
Anytime goal scorer for Carolina tonight, Jordan Martinook plus 575.
That's fun. Maybe he'll be the person to score in the first 5 minutes. We'll say it's going to happen. That's plus 170.
All right. Now, give me Vegas to take game one and over 6.5 goals. This is the playoffs of goals, ladies and gentlemen. Vegas is minus money, so Vegas and the over 6.5. We have enough time for this.
Sure.
Barca and Inter are going to extra time in the Champions League today, so you bet a draw for that, plus 270.
From the heels
Touchdown, Carolina.
to the canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hear that? That's the sound of digital instants from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With instant wins, progressive jackpots, and bonus games right from your phone. It's nonstop chances to win like you've never seen or heard before.
Oh, yeah! Big money!
Visit nclottery.com to get in on the action. Must be 18 to play. See prize and odds charts at nclottery.com/digital-instants for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Need CPAP supplies fast? I'm Brandon Giggling, president of Parkway Sleep Health Centers, and we are the Triangle's top sleep provider, offering quick access to the equipment you need for better sleep. Get the right supplies right when you need them. With over 20 years of experience, our expert team is here to help you sleep better, sooner.
Discover why so many trust Parkway Sleep Health Centers for better sleep. Visit parkwaysleep.com now and start your journey to a healthier night's sleep. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night? Worried about your finances in these crazy times? Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. If you're like most people, you have racked up a sizable amount on your credit cards, and the monthly payment is not making a dent in it. It's time to call Loan Pronto. If you own a home, you have a super easy way to get tens or even hundreds of thousands in cash. Loan Pronto has lots of options for helping you tap into the equity in your home and get the cash you need to get back on solid footing. Most homeowners who do this end up wiping out all their credit card debt and cutting their monthly expenses by $1,000. Look, you didn't mean to end up here, but you don't have to keep stressing about money. Call Loan Pronto for fast debt relief now. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Again, the website, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
The Carolina RV Super Show is coming to you. Join us at any Camping World in North Carolina or South Carolina, May 15th through the 18th, to shop ridiculous discounts on the best selection of new and used RVs in the Carolinas. Tour new 2025 RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Enter to win a new RV and enjoy family fun and on-site activities. Don't miss the Carolina RV Super Show at your local Camping World, May 15th through the 18th. Get all the details at campingworld.com/Carolina RV Super Show.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like fences. A house with a big yard and a white picket fence was always the dream. But then you saw the price to install a fence and you're wondering if the color is driving the price up. Nobody ever dreams of a beige or a gray picket fence, right? So maybe those fences are cheaper. But no, they're not. Then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds and make all your dreams of a fence come true. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Parenting is hard. Technology can make it harder. The Family Media Plan developed by the American Academy of Pediatrics helps make it easier. Go to healthychildren.org/media plan today to create the media plan that's right for your family.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
This is the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Well, I kind of had an inkling that it was going to be the Washington Capitals. So, the homework never stops. You go back. I've gone back and watched the last 2 games of the regular season, or I'm going to go back. I watched the first one this morning, the win up in D.C., which was a national TV game.
Right.
So, there's a couple of things that you go through, but, as long as they're still playing, went and covered the media availability today with a couple of players and Rod Brindamore, and you just get ready. And honestly, Adam, this is the best time of the year. You just want it to keep going, and you find ways to keep yourself busy.
Mike Maniscalco, the voice of the Carolina Hurricanes on radio. We are into the second round, and that means FanDuel Sports Network is over. Means no more Hannah Yates on your TV. Does mean that you'll get Shane Willis often in the radio booth with Mike and Tripp. Although I'm not sure how much you'll hear from Shane during the playoffs. But game 1 in D.C., 7 o'clock, just after 7 o'clock opening faceoff. And we will be on the air on the radio with your pregame show, if you are listening locally, at 6 o'clock. Less than 4 hours from now, I will be doing the Storm Watch. So we will see all of you there. Coming up in just a little bit, Brenden Whitted will talk NBA playoffs with us. 2 upsets. In fact, 3 upsets in our first 3 game 1s. Is it game 1s or games 1? I think it's game 1s. We had the Pacers winning in Cleveland, the Knicks winning in Boston, wow, and the Nuggets winning at Oklahoma City. The most understandable of those is, of course, Denver winning at OKC. Denver with all of their playoff experience, plus the best player on earth in Nikola Jokic. Not that surprised they won game 1 in Oklahoma City. I am stunned that the Knicks came back from 20 points down with 18 minutes to play in Boston to beat the Celtics. But when you put into context that Boston shot 63s and missed 45 of them, which is a record. Now I understand. And that's as good a point as any to get into the wall of sound.
The wall of sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, Brian Windhorst from ESPN on 45 missed three-pointers in Boston.
We know that the Celtics are a super high volume three-point shooting team. We know that they have games kind of like this occasionally. They've never been this bad before. And I've been at games, even in the playoffs, where they have bad three-point shooting games, and they'll come in after the game, and Joe Mazzulla and their players, Tatum and Brown, will kind of be a little bit defiant and say, well, this is our process. This is what got us to 60 wins. This is what got us to the title. Not even they could do it tonight. They kind of went through the motions of saying, you know, we got to look at the film, and maybe we're just a little bit too many threes. It was laughable.
Well, it was. The data does say that I think it was 25 of those three-pointers, of their 60, were wide open. And of those 25, they hit just 7. Theoretically, you should hit more than 7 of 25 wide-open threes. Remember, teams, I think the Celtics shoot right around, as a team, 40%, just a little bit under, I believe, as a team. That's on all threes. That's not on open threes. Theoretically, you should shoot better when they're open, but these are wide open, and they were only 7 of 25. That shooting will improve. Boston's formula is not wrong. With all of that, the Knicks still needed overtime. And it wasn't like the Knicks scored 125 points. They scored 100 in regulation. 100 was just enough against a team that had gone cold shooting. Joe Mazzulla, Celtics head coach, on why they didn't stop.
Obviously, like we said, whether it's possession, shots, things, you could always find 5-10 that you could be better at. So to me, I look at the process and the shot quality. So our shot quality was high. The points in the paint were even. We shot one more layup than they did. We shot 10 non-paint twos. They shot, much more than that. And so you have to take a look at the process of what we're trying to accomplish. And, we were able to accomplish good results for the most part. And like I said, there's probably, 8 to 10 shots that we could be better at for sure.
I mean, it really was. I mean, Boston should have won the game. They won't shoot. They were 15 of 60, 25%. They won't shoot 25% anymore. I shouldn't say that. I mean, it might. They did it once. They could do it again. But I'm going to wager that they wouldn't shoot 25% on 60 attempted threes. And maybe they shoot 16 of 60, which is only slightly better than 25%. And had they done that, they would have won. So let's not get too crazy over one Knicks win. More significant to me that the Nuggets won. And they had to come back from being down. They scored 71 points in the second half at Oklahoma City. David Edelman's team, by the way, he's brand new to the Nuggets since they fired Michael Malone with like 2 weeks left in the season. David Edelman on the comeback.
They're just for each other. It's like I just never saw anything where you're going, yeah, we're kind of losing it. Maybe competitively, because that's what happens in a playoff game. Both teams, they want this so bad. But just the communication on the bench, it wasn't about blaming somebody. It was about how can we do this better? What can we do better in a cross match? What can we do better with Shea? That's what it was. Even down, whatever it was, with the last couple minutes to go. So when you have that and you're just communicating about trying to win a game and not all the other crap that can go on, you give yourself a chance. And we did. The ball bounced our way. We got an opportunity, and Aaron knocked it down.
Yeah, Aaron Gordon made the game-winning shot with 2.8 seconds left. He had a big game, 22 points, 14 rebounds. Nikola Jokic had 42 points and 22 rebounds along with 6 assists. I mean, statistically speaking, I can't even describe it. It is otherworldly, doing things that no big man, well, I shouldn't say no big man has ever done, Wilt Chamberlain did those things. He did. Wilt Chamberlain he led the league in scoring. He led the league in rebounding. And one year he led the league in assists as a center. You don't see that every day. That's what Jokic really has become. I believe he leads Denver in every category. It's insane how good he is. And, of course, they won the title a couple years ago. I don't know that they're going to win a title this year, but they can win a series. They can win this series for real. Said the other day, I think Minnesota's going to end up coming out of the West. Minnesota opens their series tonight against Golden State. I think Minnesota will take down Steph Curry this evening. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. Brenden Whitted's going to join us on the other side. And I'll continue getting you ready for Game 1, Canes and Capitals, and some things to think about as we get ready for this game. But Brenden Whitted will join us to talk NBA playoffs next.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Let's go! It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Aho now to Jarvis. Jarvis, go get the Giants.
Let's go, Canes!
Kochetkov, stop! It's on the goal line behind him! He does a snow angel in the paint!
Go, Canes!
Playoff hockey in Raleigh is something that you can't describe, and it's because of you. So we want to be here.
The Canes' road to the Stanley Cup runs through us. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle sports leader.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And as I look at my watch, I notice it's Tuesday. Dinger time. That is right. Dinger Tuesdays at FanDuel, where all customers get a home run profit boost. That means when you bet on your guy to go yard, you can take your winnings to new heights. Whether it's a big blast or an Oppo Taco, great term. FanDuel's your home for betting home runs. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. All dinger long. Tuesdays. Dinger Tuesdays. Make every moment more with FanDuel. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and maximum wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
What? New scratch-offs are out? That means new chances to become a North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club member.
Yeah, in the Winners Club, I'll reinvent myself. I won't go by just plain Todd. I'll go by Toddrick. I'll get a gold jacket, play my saxophone again. I'll stop and smell the flowers, call my mom more.
Oh, wrap it up, Todd.
It's Toddrick.
This month's scratch-offs pack over $100 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.35 to 4.58. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Marcy Bailey here to rmind you that Mother's Day is right around the corner. Show your love and appreciation for Mom with something sparkly wrapped up in a Bailey box. We've curated an amazing Mother's Day gift guide with beautiful jewelry for every style and budget. Shoppable at BaileyBox.com. We also have all the top designers like David Yurman, Lagos, and Hippolyta, along with our highly sought-after Bailey's collections. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, voted best jeweler from the Triangle to the Coast.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hard-working folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't work when you're supposed to be retired. And if any financial advisor tells you it's too good to be true, they simply don't have the options we do. Call Trajan today at 919-200-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. DBA in most states says Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
At Napa, we've spent the last 100 years building our business into an engine that powers yours. Whether you're big or small, national or local, Napa has the automotive solutions your business needs to stay moving. And it's all driven by a nationwide network of quality parts and exceptional service on one mission: to keep your business moving full speed ahead. That's why we are the pros that know.
Gold. Gold.
If Andrei Svechnikov watched Eric Cole highlight tapes and caused chaos.
Mm-hmm. Hey, hashtag, you didn't even mean to do that, did you?
I didn't. Well, that's the old one.
I know, but
right?
It's still relevant.
Now we're raising up. Maybe we should go back to cause chaos.
I know, we need to go back to causing chaos.
This is interesting. I did kind of subconsciously bring that out.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria's on the ones and twos. The NBA playoffs hit an 11 in the first game of the second round for 3 series. Will we see that? Will the Warriors do that to the Timberwolves tonight? Minnesota's pretty heavy favorite in that series. Anthony Edwards, who doesn't want to be the face of the league, just might have no choice if he keeps winning playoff series. Brenden Whitted, our basketball brain, joins us on the Adam Gold Show. That's what it says there. It says basketball brain. Mm-hmm. That is fantastic. Perfect. All right, sir. I'm going to give you I'm just going to make a little confession here. So the last I saw New York and Boston last night was the Celtics running away in the second quarter. Yeah. It was a competitive start. Boston running away in the second quarter, and me going, yep, this is going exactly as I thought it would go. I said yesterday that it'll probably be a gentleman's sweep, and that the game that Boston will likely lose will be the second game that has been their pattern to lose game 2 of these series that they should dominate. And they should dominate the Knicks. And then I'm going back, I'm watching the hockey game, and I said, I was talking to my wife, and I said, let me just check the basketball score, because I guess my phone wasn't good enough. And and I turn it on, and they're jumping center. And I thought, wait a second, is this game in overtime? And there comes the score, 100-100. So what did I miss?
Well, much like the Celtics missed all those three-pointers. It was just, you know what's funny? They were actually still shooting really poorly, even when they were up 20. Kristaps Porzingis goes out. He's got some sort of illness.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's the same one that he's missed time with earlier in the season, so maybe that's something to keep an eye on if the Celtics move forward. But there were some – they got kind of in love with it, fell in love with the shot. Now, look, this is of all the teams – in the league, the Celtics had the highest percentage of their points come off three-pointers. So this is what they do. This is who they are. I had a few problems with the decision-making about when they would beat guys, they'd have guys beating off the dribble. And instead of looking first to score the basket, get to the rim, get fouled, layup, dunk, whatever, their immediate response was, okay, I'm at the foul line. I've got my guy beat. Let me go kick it out somewhere. And so the defense hadn't really rotated yet. And so if the defense hasn't rotated and you're only pressed about kicking it out, I know drive and kick is their thing, but you have to have the defense react first. You have to threaten the defense. And they didn't. And and because the threes just weren't dropping as happens sometimes, right? You can just have a cold hand from deep. The Knicks started being able to get out in transition. There were some really, really ugly when they were building that 20-point lead, there were some ugly Knicks offensive possessions where the Celtics defense was set. And it was just a lot of one-on-one. I'm trying to drive Anunoby or his cat or whomever. It just wasn't working. They were able to attack in transition. Your boy Josh Hart, man, pulling rebounds off and just outletting it and getting it going. And that woke up that entire team. it got them back in that game, and it was a hell of a finish. Like I'm not one of the people that thinks that Celtics gave that game away. I think they lost, right?
Yeah.
And we all have to come to grips with 20-point leads no longer being safe in the NBA. That's because of the proliferation of three-point shot. 1, 2, 3 possessions, and suddenly you cut that lead in half. And so that they just kind of got back in the game and they kept fighting. And kudos to the Knicks because it really was a team effort.
Yeah, look, the Knicks are the type of a team that can grind, right? I think they're kind of built that way. But I mean, if the Celtics shoot 16 of 60, they win the game, right? They win the game if they shoot 16 of 60, but they didn't. And all of that matters. Also, based on what I've read, like almost half of those threes were wide open, and they missed a bunch of those too, which leads me to this. And I'm not saying the Knicks played great defense. And again, I watched a good chunk of the first quarter into the second quarter, thought I had seen what I needed to see. And so I don't know that the Knicks played good defense, but I will say that good defense has a cumulative effect, and that when you are defending well, even when that defense is not necessarily there, it has the tendency to speed up your opponent because they don't think they'll be able to get the same look. Again, not saying that that's what happened. I think what is likely the cause of what happened to Boston last night is sometimes you get on a downward spiral.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you could do about it.
Well, I don't want to take all credit away from the Knicks' defensive efforts.
You can. It doesn't bother me.
I was impressed with their ability just to kind of hang around and hang in that game and then get back into it. Like, there were some solid closeouts. There were some, again, there were some contested shots there. Now, there were some dribble. Hey, look, I love Jason Tatum. But if somebody likes a step back three in a high leverage situation more than that, man, I have yet to see it because, Tatum is 6'9", 230 or whatever it is. It's okay sometimes just to put your shoulder down and go to the rack. It's okay. Like, it's completely fine. Like, Jaylen Brown was 1 of 10. Like, at some point, I'm not saying stop shooting. I'm saying stop shooting that particular shot. At least watch the ball go in a little bit more, right? Like, I mean, because there were several times when anytime they wanted to get a Brunson switch onto Brown or Tatum, they would just take him down to the nail and just take the shot because the Knicks were so concerned. They were staying at home. Yeah. And so you were getting a lot of Brunson, who is, I don't think he's a bad defender, but he's just small, right? Yeah. And if you have guys that have that kind of size, they're just going to shoot over. And that's what they did. They would get to the nail, they would get to the free throw line, and they would do that. But they just would go away from it for large stretches of time. And I think that based on some of the comments afterwards, Brown in particular, I think that you're going to see a little bit more of a determination to get to rack. Because the other part of that is Mikal Bridges played 51 minutes, right? And we all know Tom Thibodeau. 50. We all know Britt. We all know what the shake is with Tibbs. Tibbs is like, I don't care how tired you are. You can be tired tomorrow. That's obviously his philosophy.
51 of 53 possible minutes.
Yeah, he was in there. He was in there the whole game, and so
great defense on Brown on the last possession.
Man, he was so good in overtime. Look, last time I got on here, I had some choice words for Bridges because I think they gave up so much for a guy that, I mean, even with the good overtime, he was still like 8 points, 9 points. Like, he really wasn't an offensive factor for the majority of the game. Hit a big three and had some big steals and some solid defensive rotations. But part of the ability to play these heavy minutes is that if I'm just sitting at home on a defender, you're not moving. They play 5 out in Celtics. Well, it is a little bit easier to play defense if my guy just goes to a spot and doesn't move, and you hit up and you pull up a three early in the shot clock. Yeah, it does make it a little bit easier to play defense. I think you'll see a little bit more movement from them. I think not having Porzingis hurts their offense, not necessarily because he was shooting well, because he wasn't, but he does give them a punch, right? He does give them that post touch that will throw some stuff off, will maybe require Mitchell Robinson to play more minutes, which the Knicks definitely did not want to do at all. He's back to shooting at that sub 50% range, which is what he's done pretty much for the entirety of his career. Not having Porzingis, even just as a guy to bother the defense and to keep somebody honest, they didn't have that. Hopefully he'll be back this series. We've seen them win the championship essentially without him last year, but I do think that they could use a little bit more variety in their offense.
Yeah, I mean, it looked to me like early on, Peyton Pritchard was the guy that was doing a lot of damage in the Knicks. He had a couple of threes. He had the little hesitation drive.
He's really turned himself into a hell of a six man. Like he's, when he was early in his career, I thought he was just going to be food on defense, and he wasn't going to be able to make up for it with his offensive capabilities. He's proved me wrong. Dude is a legitimate baller. And
let's be honest, the real reason why the Knicks won, and I've said this before, I think the Knicks are unwatchable. I can't. I hate their. Well, Jalen Brunson is going to have the ball, and he's going to pound the ball into the court for 16 seconds, and then he is going to make a shot. That's their offense. Great play if you can keep running it. And they ran it successfully enough to win the game last night, and they ran it successfully enough to beat Detroit the other night. And I don't have any idea what else I was going to say, so let's move on to the Nuggets and OKC. And I'm not surprised that the Nuggets won the game because they have the best player. And we can debate all day long about who's the MVP, who's not the MVP. Whatever. That's a fine debate. And SGA is probably the MVP this year. But Nikola Jokic is the best player.
Yeah.
And sometimes that matters the most. And even though Aaron Gordon made the game-winning shot, 42, 22, and 6?
18 in the fourth.
18
in the fourth. They had every reason in the world to fold. I remember in the third quarter, Jokic picks up his fourth foul. So he plays a lot that game in foul trouble.
Yeah.
Midway through the fourth, he picks up his fourth foul. They're about 10 to 12 points down. And I had this as a schedule loss more so than anything else. You're coming 48 hours off of a game 7. You're going to OKC, a notoriously difficult place to play. You're playing the number 1 ranked team in the Western Conference.
Right.
You're supposed to lose that game, right? So them going down and being down by 14 points or whatever it was in the third quarter was not surprising, to the point where I'm thinking, I think I even tweeted this out, hey, we're getting close to the point where we might need to start making decisions about game 2, right? And they kept fighting back. There's a flagrant foul in the fourth quarter where there's about 6:30, 6:45 left. They're down by 13 points at that point after the Lou Dort free throws off of the flagrant foul. Again, they could have folded. They showed all of that championship mettle right then. And the fact that you mentioned Aaron Gordon with the 3-point, his second game winner, by the way, in this playoffs,
That's right.
in this playoffs, which is super dope. I love to see the fact that this dude went from just kind of obscurity in Orlando to now he's not only a champion, but a guy contributing to maybe another championship run. The guy that gave it that ball to him, Russell Westbrook in OKC. I'm so proud of that.
Westbrook has been a useful player for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's hard for a lot of people to process that Russ has really been a valuable piece. Yes. I am not team Jamal Murray. I think Jamal Murray is only occasionally good. Okay? That's me.
Okay.
I am not team Jamal Murray. And I'm not
I think he's occasionally great, but
okay, occasionally great.
He's occasionally great.
The Jamal Murray from the bubble?
Yeah.
That Jamal Murray doesn't really exist.
I mean, he dropped 40 in the last series. He had a 40 burger in the last series.
There's a lot of players that can, OG Anunoby probably ain't going to have 29 points in game 2, right? Yeah. So every once in a while, that Jamal Murray shows up. But for me, Jamal Murray is more like high teens, a good player, but not take a game over player. But when you have the ability to put Westbrook and all that he is capable of doing on the court, he does have the opportunity to make a difference, even if it's just in bursts. Those bursts can be the difference. I know no team ever really took advantage of it, but Carmelo Anthony, I guess Portland did to a certain extent. Carmelo Anthony in small bursts at the end of his career was kind of a difference maker.
Russ is never scared. right? And so sometimes you'll get a Russ where you're like, man, what are you doing? Like there were a couple passes there when they're trying to make their comeback in the fourth quarter. It's like, Russ, you're trying to thread this needle through 3 or 4 different defenders to get to a player who won't even have a shot available to him. What are you doing? But it's also, Russ, hey, give me the ball. The time is winding down. We're down. Give me the ball. Give me the ball because I know I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. Oh, I'm going to. And there's a moment there where I think he's about to try to drive and finish over top of 2 people in that last possession where the guys are back. Like there's 2 guys back and Aaron Gordon is kind of leaking out to the side. And I'm thinking, 2 years ago, Russ tries to go through all those people and take it. Instead, he looks, draws the defense a little bit because they're thinking the same thing, kicks it to Aaron Gordon, and he knocks down the 3. Like him doing that, especially in Oklahoma City, that's like going to your high school reunion and you're a CEO, right? Like, hey, I did this. Like I told you I was that guy when I was here.
Right.
Was that guy when I was here, came back and am still that guy. That must have been an exhilarating experience for him. Not that OKC doesn't love him. They gave him all the love when he got back, but it had to feel good, like a little bit of this is me on the way to. If he wins the championship, we're gonna have a real talk about his whole legacy, and it will be very difficult to suss out, but it would be a lot of fun to talk about.
Do you think Denver's going to win this championship?
You know, if Michael Porter Jr. is just done, no.
Okay.
This is a tough to Christian Brown. Christian Brown has been really good for them, but without MPJ and having those kind of like Klay Thompson like moments,
right?
I think their ceiling is a little bit lower than it would be. I know there's some stuff with his game that's just kind of he loses focus on defense. He's not going to create for others, but he gives them that penthouse, right? Otherwise, it's just an apartment building. And I think that's the difference there. And he's got I know it's not his shooting shoulder. Let me just tell you, if one of your shoulders is messed up, does not matter what. If your T-zone is not good,
right,
and every time you're going up, you're wincing, your shot is going to be affected. I understand this is left one and it's not his right one, but if that's just done for the rest of the season, then no, I don't think that they win. If he can give them anything at all, then maybe they have a shot. And again, as you mentioned, if you got Jokic, you have a shot to do anything because
true,
that man is a monster.
All right, real quick to tonight, Minnesota hosting Golden State as they get their series underway. The Warriors gutted out of Game 7. I really thought they were cooked watching Games 5 and 6. They figured out a way. They got an out-of-body experience from Buddy Hield. Steph Curry. I mean, I don't know what else to call it. I mean,
no, you're right. You're like no one had that on there. No one had that on the bingo card at all. I don't know what his over/under would have been for that game. I know it wasn't nearly what it put up though.
It was ridiculous. And then Steph showed up in the fourth quarter, right?
Yep.
So they did eventually get Steph being him. I still watching Minnesota the way they absolutely obliterated the Lakers. Maybe that was an imperfect roster, to put it mildly, and we should have seen that coming, so maybe it's not as impressive. But, man, Anthony Edwards is one of those guys. There's only a handful of those on earth, and I'm not sure that he isn't the best player left in the playoffs, not named Jokic.
They actually, Minnesota actually reminds me a lot of Houston. In terms of they got really good defenders, really good perimeter defender. They have a fantastic offensive player. In Houston, its case is Şengün. In Minnesota's is Naz Reid, reigning Sixth Man of the Year.
Okay.
So they have an additional offensive threat. The difference between Jalen Green and Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
And you saw Green be he really struggled at the end of that series. But to be fair, he's supposed to, right? He's never really played meaningful NBA minutes before. So, like, them being the second seed and all that, being in Game 7, he has some work to do, but that's how it's supposed to go. Anthony Edwards is already there. Like, this feels like this might be the season where it's just very obvious, hey, he's already been super talented, but now, hey, this might be the year they go and win something. Things are kind of falling in place so that they will. I think that they'll beat Golden State in 6 because I think, anytime you have Butler and Curry, something crazy could happen on any given night, right? But I just don't think Golden State has. I think they're a better fit, a better fight they'll put up a better fight than the Lakers because they're a little bit deeper, a little bit more athletic. I think that was part of the reason that they tried to crowbar some Kuminga minutes in towards the back end of that last series versus Houston. But I don't think that they're going to be able to stand in front of Anthony Edwards on a regular basis and keep him out of the paint, because that's what really killed the Lakers. He was just getting there whenever he felt like it.
Yep.
And I don't know if I feel comfortable saying that anybody is going to be able to stand in front of him and stop him from doing what he wants.
Brenden Whitted, basketball brain, as it says right there on the Chiron. At HU Cosell on Twitter. My friend, I'll talk to you very soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Go Hurricanes! Going to the Caps game tonight. Let's go.
That's right. You're in our nation's capital for the return. This is where it all began. I know you're a Caps guy up there, but this is the beginning.
Oh no, I'm Hurricanes all day. I enjoy like Ovechkin and all this other stuff, but let's be clear: Southeast Raleigh's finest. I'm gonna be up in that building.
All right, this is where it all began for Carolina. I'm actually going to talk about it on the other side. All of this culture, all of this stuff, it has roots 2019 in that building, so it should be fun. Thank you, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
You got it. All right, when we come back, we'll talk about 2019. We'll get into the playoffs last night. We'll get into Florida, Toronto. Also, the Dallas series starts tomorrow, and looks like Pete DeBoer is going to have at least Jason Robertson available to the Stars as they open up their series with Winnipeg tomorrow. I still can't believe that we're watching Dallas and Winnipeg and not Colorado and St. Louis, but that's why they play the games. That's why they wait till the clock is over before we declare who wins. All of that coming up next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
There's no party like an all-star party. The NASCAR All-Star Race roars into North Wilkesboro Speedway. It's back May 16 through 18 for a no-holds-barred, old-fashioned mountain showdown. NASCAR's biggest stars going for all the money and bragging rights under the lights. At one of racing's most iconic tracks, metal will bend, dreams will end, and the fun? Well, that doesn't stop all weekend. Kick your May into high gear. Get your tickets today at northwilkesborospeedway.com.
During the sports season, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling to and from athletic events. Wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. Prioritize your safety and buckle up. Every seat, every time. Remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message is brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Imagine a school where you could study AI and ancient Egypt, become a National Honor Student, join a cooking club, or code the next big video game, and do it all in a comfortable space. Your own home. Welcome to NC Cyber Academy, a K-12 tuition-free virtual charter school that provides you with a flexible, personalized education designed to prepare you for college and a career. Visit myncca.com and discover a learning experience that works for you, your family, and your future.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Do you know someone who's lost a loved one to overdose? Every day, the disease of addiction is taking lives and devastating families. But this crisis is preventable. Join the Governor's Institute in the Be a Superhero in the Overdose Battle campaign. Together, we can spread awareness, fight stigma, and save lives. Learn the signs of overdose. Know how to help. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero today, because doing nothing shouldn't be an option. Be a hero. Take action. Save a life.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round.
are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today. To the people of North Carolina, for 70 years, you've helped to make PBS North Carolina a trusted friend in your home. We've watched history unfold with Henry Louis Gates Jr., explored new worlds with Mr. Rogers, and found treasures together on Antiques Roadshow. Your support has helped us continue teaching, entertaining, and inspiring generations. Celebrate with us when you watch new programming on PBS NC or stream anytime on the free PBS app. Learn more about PBS North Carolina at pbsnc.org.
This is Adam Gold.
While I'm watching Colombia-Uruguay, not only the end of that match, but the fight in the stands after it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Heard it got spicy.
That was the most excited fans we have seen in 5 years at Bank of America Stadium. Man, look at all the happy people at Bank of America.
Just took the other kind of football.
Yeah, there you go. More of that.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Canes caps game one where it all began for Carolina in this pretty impressive run of playoff success. A couple of things I just want to address here. Look, I know as a fan base as a whole, and Justin Williams mentioned this when we talked to him earlier. Because I asked him, does it not bother you? I don't remember how I phrased it. Just in the flow of conversation. It occurs to me that we are at some points a little jaded as a fan base. We can forget easily how hard it is to do what Carolina has already done in playoff hockey. Without any one of those guys, think about this. Carolina doesn't have a Kucherov or a McDavid or a McKinnon, right, or a Draisaitl. Edmonton has two of them, and they haven't won a title either. They don't have a Matthews. They don't have one of those guys. Heck, they don't even have like a Kaprizov. You know, these unbelievably dynamic, well more than a point per game scorers. They don't have that. There's a lot of teams, by the way, that don't have that. And for the most part, Carolina has had, year in and year out, incredible postseason success. Year one, they go to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's year one of the Rod Brind'Amour era. And yeah, it was kind of a surprise. And I was actually going to mention this with Brendan. This is what I forgot. I lost my train of thought. Is that sometimes it can be a blessing to just keep playing and not have the break, even when the other team does. Because the Hurricanes left their series with Washington, and 2 days later were playing game one on Long Island and won a 1-0 game. Jordan Staal scoring the only goal. They ended up winning that series in 4. And then the pattern was the Islanders, I believe, had swept the Penguins in the first round. Then the Islanders got swept. And the Hurricanes swept the Islanders, and then they got swept by Boston. Look, Carolina at that point was out of their league. They were out of their depth when they got to the Bruins. But you won 2 rounds in year one. They won a playoff series in year 2 in bubble hockey. And while it was a playoff series, the 3-0 sweep of the Rangers, they lost in what really was the quarterfinals, like round 1, when they played the Bruins. But from the crazy pandemic central on, Carolina won. They were in the second round in 21, in 22, 23, 24, and now 25. No other team in the NHL has done that. Again, they want to win the championship. You want to be the last team standing, as they say. But that doesn't mean what Carolina has accomplished to this point can be just brushed aside as, oh, well. And I feel like that has happened. And I will just bring personal experience to this. I remember working in Baltimore when Maryland was only getting to the Sweet 16. And I didn't put up air quotes if you're watching on the YouTubes, but it deserves air quotes. Now, it wasn't like 5 in a row, but it was like 6 out of 8 where Maryland was getting to the Sweet 16. And there was a mindset that, that's all they're capable of doing. As though that, in and of itself, wasn't an accomplishment. The Metropolitan Division, albeit not this year, the Metropolitan Division has often been looked at as, oh my gosh, that's a great division. Granted, there's enough talent across the league now, whether it's the Atlantic or the Central, maybe those are the two best divisions. But let's be honest about where Carolina was when the Metropolitan Division was formed, and we all said the same thing. How are the Hurricanes ever going to win that division? That was a conversation we had. Well, they've won it twice. They didn't win it last year or this year, but they won it the 2 previous years. They have been one of the best teams in hockey regular season over the last 7 years. And they've also been one of the most successful postseason teams over the last 7 years. What they haven't done is take the next step. The next step, by the way, there's a step in between where they are and where they've been and winning the title. You could get to another cup final. You could experience that. Whether or not this team has a chance, I don't know. I mean, just keep playing. Win this series. Take your chance on whoever's left, Florida or Toronto. And I'll say the joke before anybody else does. Hey, winning a game in the conference finals would be certainly good. They haven't done that since 2006. 3 trips to the conference finals, no wins. But we shouldn't pretend that this isn't significant, because it is. We do want this team. They want to accomplish more. Aho said it the best when he said, we're not here to get to the second round. Yeah, and your fan base agrees. It's better than losing in the first round, but not as good even as losing in the third round. Speaking of Aho, he gets a rap as somebody who's not quite good enough. I mean, again, he's not McKinnon. He's not that guy. What he is, however, is basically a point per game in the playoffs. 78 points in 79 playoff games. 30 goals, 48 assists, and a plus 22 in his playoff career. That's a season. It's pretty good. Better maybe than anybody thought. The best player that the Hurricanes have in playoff hockey by a lot. They will need him to be that guy. They will need Andrei Svechnikov to be that guy. As long as those two players play well and produce, Carolina can play a lot of hockey. Now, you need guys to join them. You need Jarvis and Blake and Hall. And to an extent, my pick for anytime goal scorer tonight, Jordan Martinook. You need depth scoring to chip in. They're going to need some help on the blue line. I actually considered Jalen Chatfield at, I believe it was plus 1,300 as an anytime goal scorer today. They're going to need that. Not just to beat Washington, but to challenge either Florida or Toronto. They're going to need depth. But I think Carolina's equipped. They're equipped to beat Washington. They are equipped to handle all of that. So, with that said, all good stuff. All right. Can we rewind? All right, this is our Ovechkin conversation. Ben Seltzer, Ben the stats guy. We got numbers, Ovechkin versus the world. All right, it's time to dig in on Alexander Ovechkin, and I am looking forward to this. Ben the stats guy, Ben Seltzer, works in the back, helps us out all the time during the playoffs. All right, sir, you've got a whole bunch of Ovechkin numbers.
Yeah.
I am ready to answer these questions. I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah, I thought we'd play a little over-under.
Okay.
And just to set the bar, Ovi's the goal-scoring leader now in the NHL.
897 all-time.
897 past Wayne Gretzky on April 6th against her former Islanders.
Yes, long time ago.
Yeah.
Last time I was an Islanders fan, they beat the Capitals in a playoff series.
93. Right?
I was still. It was just after I got out of college. Yes,
okay.
Actually, that's well after I got out of college. But I remember being at a place called the Cellar in College Park. So I was still in school at this point, and the Islanders and Capitals played like a 3 overtime game that the Islanders won. And I'm in suburban Washington D.C. amongst a whole bunch of Caps fans, and me and my buddy who were Islanders fans at the time. Yeah.
Is this the
snuck out the
Easter
back.
egg Pat LaFontaine one?
Yes.
Oh, so it's late 80s.
Yeah, it was 87, I think, that year.
All right, so just to set the bar here, as everybody knows, Hurricanes' first season, 97-98, after moving from Hartford. So if we were to take the Canes' leading goal scorer from 97-98 to now, would that be more than Ovi's 897 career goals? So we'll set the over-under 897 and a half. To give a little background here, put things in perspective, Ovi's first season, 05-06, so the Hurricanes have a 7-season leeway on Ovi's 27 career. That first season for the Hurricanes, 97-98, they had co-leaders, 26 goals, Keith Primo, Sam Kapanen, but we'll only take the one.
Okay.
You want to go ahead with who's most goals in one season for the Hurricanes?
Right. If you gave me the Hurricanes goal scoring leader,
yes,
every year from then until now,
yeah,
and plus 125 goals, I might still take Ovechkin's 897 and a half. I think Carolina probably comes in around 760 is my guess.
Okay, so you got the under correct. But
was it closer than that?
Way closer.
Really?
851, 46 goals shy.
That is
Does
somewhat
that surprise
remarkable.
you?
It does surprise me because Carolina's only had 2 40-goal scorers. They had Stahl.
3. Two Stalls, I believe.
Yeah. Eric did it twice.
45 and a 40.
Okay, and Jeff O'Neill did it once.
Yeah.
They've had a bunch of 30s, but you only count one of those in a given year.
We'll go to that later, too.
Right, okay, yes. I think Aho might have the second. Maybe there were a couple of 38s in there from maybe O'Neill or Eric, but Aho's got the 36, I think, is his high.
I think he was 38,
Was
but
he?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It helped these last 7 years for the Canes' cause.
Okay, good.
All right, so next one, power play goal. Ovi's 20-season career.
Right.
Hurricanes, same situation. Ovi's at 326, so over under 326 and a half.
Under. Carolina's power play hasn't been all that great, and they haven't had that one guy who just pumped in a lot of power play goals. I think this is probably to scale, probably less.
Where would you say the range?
What did you say? Ovi was at 320 something?
326.
I would say Carolina's probably in the 240 range.
Close. It is under.
Yeah.
287 for Hurricanes.
Even better than I expected. All right, yes, the Hurricanes have been better than I expected. Here are Aho's goals, goals total. A high of 38. He did that in the bubble. So what would that number have been? 38 goals in 68 games. What would that number have been? He would have gone over 40. But 38 was the high water mark, 37 in 22, 36 twice the last 2 years, 29 this year. So we talked about the fact that Aho's offensive season was not great this year. It was good. He had a good year. He didn't have a bad year. A down year offensively by his standard, which he would admit. But he looks like he's getting back to being Sebastian Aho. And I asked on Twitter, we'll close on these little moments here. I asked on Twitter, who's going to be the leading scorer for Carolina in the playoffs? And Angie not only gives me Sebastian Aho as an answer, she says, I feel Aho has a fire building in his belly.
Oh, well, there you go.
So he is the one. I think that is the answer. I think if Andrei Svechnikov is with him, whether it's one behind or one ahead, something like that, then Carolina's in very, very good shape. I was asked this morning by our friends at WFNZ what I thought was key for Carolina. And for me, they can't get power played out of the series by Washington. Now, there will be games where Washington's power play will score. Flat out. You're not going 15 for 15 on the penalty kill like you did against New Jersey. Washington's going to get their power play goals. But you have enough games where you shut them down when you're on the penalty kill. I think you have a good chance of winning those games. So, game to game, you win the special teams battle, probably going to win the game. Stay out of the box. Don't be in the penalty box more than 3 times tonight. I don't know that game 1 is hypercritical, but man, if you win it, that's why I think it's almost beneficial to start on the road. Thank you, Victoria. See everybody tomorrow.
Talking sports, so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller. Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. The man who invented the no closing cost mortgage. And what does that allow you to do? It allows you to keep more of your own money because the banks or other lenders really charge you closing costs when you get a mortgage, which kind of has been the way of the world for decades.